Good morning. Thanks for being here, everyone. I appreciate everyone for tuning in and being here and subscribing. Like the video as you come in. Like the video as you come in. That's the best way to support the channel by liking the video and also subscribing. We're going to get into a few different things. As you know, Candace went on to Pierce Morgan's show. Let me start from the beginning and let me get my disclaimer in. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21, where we talk hot topics, trending topics, what's going on in the news, in media, and we talk about what is being conversated about from Instagram, from X, from Facebook, wherever. Many people have talked about good morning. Thanks for being here. Many people have talked about Candace, and some of the fans are upset that she went to speak with ERIKA because they feel like Candace should have did her live stream from her home, and it would have showed the numbers. I said that it would have showed the numbers of how well Candace is doing compared to them. Now, it's also being reported that Candace and Megan was supposed to facilitate them speaking, whether they were going to go on her show, and then that way they could have the conversation. Candace did say, and I'll show that video maybe later, Candace did say she's happy that it was private. A lot of people are not happy that it was private because they wanted to see the interaction between Candace and ERIKA. But many people feel, like I feel, that Candace, how she conversates and how ERIKA conversates are two different people. Candace has been doing this for years in the forefront. ERIKA has not. But let me go ahead and do my disclaimer, and we're going to talk more because people are really upset. And she kind of went off a little bit on PIERS too. All comments are allegedly. So just give me a second to do my disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged in our opinion and for entertainment purposes only. While I still get set up, I'm going to go ahead and play this for you.
Israeli involvement in some way. You certainly inferred a lot of turning point, say, involvement. That's a lot of people getting involved here in the murder of Charlie Kirk potentially. But what I'm really curious about is, given you've been all over all this and you've been airing all these theories, but which one is it? It can't be all of these things. Is it somebody?
Well, of course
is it someone at Turning Point USA? I mean, who do you actually believe was behind this?
Of course, it can be all of those things. And what's really ironic here, there's a clip of Charlie in the last months leading up to his death where he speaks about the JFK assassination. And he says that multiple countries were involved, multiple people were involved, the LBJ was involved, the feds were involved. And he's correct. That is what it means. When there is a conspiracy, there are multiple people that are involved. Of course, there's not one person on a grassy knoll who shot JFK.
Well, it might have been that.
There are people who had to agree to it. We don't. Would have had to. The Dallas police were involved. But I'm answering your question. I'm answering your question. You're asking, why aren't you just going to point to one person? That to me, even that seems like a part of telling people not to believe their own gut. Obviously, for this to have been pulled off, there had to have been multiple people involved. So applying that same logic to JFK, right, knowing, as I do and as Charlie did, believe that LBJ was involved, which then implicates the feds as having been involved, which then implicates the Dallas police station as being involved. I believe Israel was obviously involved, that they were the ones that wanted him dead for saying that what is now AIPAC should have to register under FARA. So there's motive. There are people that have to be involved on the ground that day. There are people that have to be willing to allow the perpetrators to get away. There has to be media that's complicit, and that's what literally Operation Mockingbird was. It was established
to persuade the public. Candace, here's the problem.
Well, hang on. It was established.
Yeah, but here's the problem with everything you're saying.
In this massive cover-up.
The whole reason there are still conspiracy theories about JFK's assassination is none of this is a fact. You are
because the feds
cover
it up.
Theory.
Because the feds are never going to admit to their own crimes. That is the reason we're still discussing it.
That may be the case, but you can't prove that.
Yeah, well, I can prove common sense that Lee Harvey Oswald did not stand on a grassy knoll and assassinate a president. And LBJ, like Charlie says in that clip, which people should go pursue.
Yes, I know Charlie
all of the weird things that happened that day that were unusual, and LBJ decided not to ride that day. And then suddenly he reversed course on all of JFK's policies, and he was fighting AIPAC. Israel killed JFK.
All right.
I feel convinced that the feds were involved. I can tell you that. I think the feds were involved in staging a cover-up. I think Kash Patel knows what happened and did not happen on that day.
What is it they're covering up? You've so far intimated or inferred something weird involving planes. So, what's that about? You've inferred perhaps Israeli involvement in some way. You certainly inferred a lot of Turning Point USA involvement. That's a lot of people getting involved here in the murder of Charlie Kirk potentially. But what I'm really curious about is, given you've been all over all this and you've been airing all these theories, but which one is it? It can't be all of these things. Is it somebody?
Well, of course,
is it someone at Turning Point USA? I mean, who do you actually believe was behind this?
Of course, it can be all of those things. And what's really ironic here is that there's a clip of Charlie in the last months leading up to his death where he speaks about the JFK assassination. And he says that multiple countries were involved, multiple people were involved, the LBJ was involved, the feds were involved. And he's correct. That is what it means. When there is a conspiracy, there are multiple people that are involved. Of course, there's not one person on a grassy knoll who shot JFK.
Well, it might have been that.
There are people who had to agree with it. Would have had to. The Dallas police were involved. Hold on, I'm answering your question. You're asking, why aren't you just going to point to one person? That to me, even that seems like a part of telling people not to believe their own gut. Obviously, for this to have been pulled off, there had to have been multiple people involved. So applying that same logic to JFK, right, knowing, as I do and as Charlie did, believe that LBJ was involved, which then implicates the feds as having been involved, which then implicates the Dallas police station as being involved. I believe Israel was obviously involved, that they were the ones that wanted him dead for saying that what is now AIPAC should have to register under FARA. So there's motive. There are people that have to be involved on the ground that day. There are people that have to be willing to allow the perpetrators to get away. There has to be media that's complicit, and that's what literally Operation Mockingbird was. It was established to persuade the public.
Candace, here's the problem.
Well, hang on. It was established.
Yeah, but here's the problem with everything you're saying.
In this massive cover-up.
The whole reason there are still conspiracy theories about JFK's assassination is none of this is a fact. You are
because the feds
cover it up. Theory.
Because the feds are never going to admit to their own crimes. That is the reason we're still discussing it.
That may be the case, but you can't prove that.
Yeah, well, I can prove common sense that Lee Harvey Oswald did not stand on a grassy knoll and assassinate a president. And LBJ, like Charlie says in that clip, which people should go pursue.
Yes, I know Charlie
all of the weird things that happened that day that were unusual, and LBJ decided not to ride that day. And then suddenly he reversed course on all of JFK's policies, and he was fighting AIPAC. Israel killed JFK.
All right.
I feel convinced
that
the feds...
So let's get to the whole clip in regards to Candace and Piers Morgan yesterday. We get that Candace is on this seek, ask questions, no stone unturned, send clips, send information. And then this is the biggest thing that somebody did say, and it did make sense. Why did they wait so long for Candace and ERIKA to speak? Real talk, when you really think about it, take a minute. Husband passes away, RIP to Charlie Kirk. No, I didn't agree with a lot of things he said, thought, marriage, race, culture, didn't approve, didn't agree. They're trying to push a narrative, didn't like how he thought about certain things. But RIP to Charlie Kirk. No man, no person deserves to pass away the way he did. And if he had concerns prior to, I would not go to an event. I would project in, Skype and something. I'm not going. You ain't gonna threaten me. I'm not taking unwelcoming comments. And be kind in the comments too. So why is it that it took them months to talk? We understand Candace didn't go to the funeral. Did she send well wishes? Did she ever say to ERIKA, if you need anything, let me know. I'm here for you. I'm wondering if she ever sent that. Now we understand. Beginning of all this, Candace was gathering information from the team, from people that work at TP USA. She was gathering. She was in the gathering stage. She did not go to the event, and people that went to the event, go check that out. That's some tea. That's some tea. But anyway, Candace didn't go to the event. Isn't it interesting that they're finally speaking out to each other? And Candace said that ERIKA was learning in the beginning. And she was happy that Candace was investigating, and then they would push the information to the police, to the investigators, to figure out what was going on. But why did it take y'all so long to communicate? And then why would you not This is big when you really think about it. As a wife, why would you not say, can you check into this? But why isn't ERIKA checking into things like CANDACE is checking into things? Because as a wife, I would want to know if there are more people involved. So this is the biggest thing. She forgave the person that took him out. Why? We don't know. We didn't understand it. We was like, what? I'm not forgiving somebody that's going to take my boo, my bae out. Hello. I want my spouse, my man here, or my partner here. But then she had big energy to Candace to shut it down. And I'm wondering if, I thought about that with me and my friends, I'm wondering if she wanted Candace to shut it down because of the donors. We need to silence this stuff. We need to move forward. I'm wondering, I don't know. I'm not a part of the organization. I don't want to be. But I'm wondering if it's the donors that's saying, calm it down. Calm it down, shut it down, do whatever y'all have to do to calm it down and shut it down. Because remember, Candace had said, any place, anytime, I'll meet with y'all. We could talk about these debating concerns. We can conversate about what's going on. We can talk. Candace should have said, we'll figure out a time, a place together. But instead, she said what she said. That was her fault, how she said it. So then they picked a time and they posted it 12 o'clock at night, and they didn't even tell her. How's she going to clear her schedule, her husband clear her schedule, her security guard clear the schedule? So it's interesting how they move over there at Turning Point USA. Have y'all noticed that? ERIKA had said there's going to be no live streams until they conversate. Who is ERIKA to tell Candace not to live stream, not to post? Who's ERIKA to tell Candace that? So Turning Point is moving funny already when you think about it. Because if y'all did not know, they're stating that Turning Point did do a live stream. It wasn't on YouTube. It was on something else. Don't know the stream, but they did go live. But this is the other thing, y'all. Did y'all know this? Catch this tea. They're stating that Candace changed her Instagram. Yes, they're stating that Candace has changed her Instagram. I can't confirm or deny she changed it before the meeting, after the meeting, but her page has almost been swiped of a lot of her conspiracies. Yes. Why? Because I think she's worried about that stuff biting her in the behind at a later date. They're also saying Candace changed her Instagram, and I think Turning Point might have changed theirs as well. Isn't that something? Why would you change it? Now, many people feel that Candace had to change her tune because she's worried, or her team might be worried about her catching a lawsuit. Didn't I tell y'all they were pressuring her extremely hard to come over there and talk to them? And then she's like, I'm not coming there because y'all the last ones that saw that man alive. Why would I come near y'all, by y'all, near y'all, if y'all couldn't protect him? But then she really wanted to speak with ERIKA, though. Did y'all notice that? Did y'all pick that up? That she was really interested in sitting down with ERIKA. If ERIKA was going to be on the live stream at that location, Candace was kind of interested in being at that location if ERIKA was going to be there. But remember, they were stating, alleged, that that's her husband's birthday. She shouldn't try and do anything on that date, but she did. That was her husband's birthday, allegedly. And then, remember in the meeting, it was stated that Candace was there, her husband was there, her cousins was there, and we don't know who that other fourth person was there. Was it security? Was it someone from her team? We don't know. But remember, catch this tea too. Did you catch how Candace was like, my cousin is always in her headphones listening to music? How do we not know that the cousin wasn't recording stuff? It's good to have a listening ear, but her husband never should have left. They should have pushed the time forward or changed the time so that the husband could be there for the full conversation. So that way, if it's 4.5 hours, she conversated about her and ERIKA's conversation. She did a live for about an hour 15. I don't know. She did her normal live. Many people felt that the whole live should have been about the conversation with ERIKA. A lot of it was, she kind of went back and forth, but many people were questioning, why didn't she say more? Did she sign anything? Did they record it? So let's go ahead and get into this Piers Morgan and Candace conversation. Many people are side-eyeing Candace and they're mad. They're big mad. They're going off everywhere. You switched up. Did you sign something? Did you get paid? Your energy's off. You seem different. What did they do? Are you going to work with him off to the side? And Candace is like, hold on, y'all. I didn't drink nothing. Y'all told me don't drink nothing. I am alive. I'm alive. I'm not going to switch up. I'm still going to do my investigations. That's what Candace said. So we're going to go ahead and get to this clip, but it's very interesting. How is it that Candace and ERIKA didn't speak allegedly through this whole time? How are you? Is there any questions you want me to ask? Why weren't they ever sharing notes? If your boo your bae has been taken out and she's a close friend with Charlie, why would y'all not communicate up until this week? That's interesting to me. But I told y'all my page is a little different. Let's go ahead and get to this interview regards to Piers Morgan and Candace Owens. Let's go. Like the videos y'all come in.
All these Egyptian planes were flying around tracking Charlie KIRK and Turning Point and ERIKA KIRK. Let's assume for a moment.
Hold on.
Amid all of that, she joins me now for her first interview since the meeting with ERIKA KIRK. Candace Owens, welcome back to Uncensored.
It's good to be with you at the end of another year.
Yes, and what a year it's been, not least for you. It's fair to say your fame continues to rise. Infamy, some would put it.
I hope people are being kind in the comments. Be kind in the comments. We don't do rude over here. We don't do rude in the comments. Let's continue. Fair use.
But you're always a welcome guest on Uncensored. Let's get to this extraordinary meeting that you had with ERIKA KIRK. It came right after we saw her say in that CBS town hall, you should stop with the conspiracy theories. So who approached who about you guys actually getting together?
I was approached by Turning Point after Blake Neff, who works on Charlie's show, sort of fumbled this invite. I'd almost say it was a fake invite publicly. And then in the middle of the night, said, oh, Candace is not able to be here tomorrow. And they never messaged me. And I think there was quite a bit of public backlash with how they went about it. It was just not the way that we try to set meetings. And so what happened after was they reached out to me, said ERIKA would agree to do a live stream, just the two of us. And then after ERIKA's PR blitz, they reached out again and said that they felt that it was better for us to meet one-on-one as opposed to us sitting down having Megyn Kelly moderate, which was the idea originally.
Right. So where did?
Yes, because ERIKA KIRK's live streams did not go well. They were talking about her eyes. They were talking about her looking off. Is she reading something? Was the town hall? They said that was a mess. Did she answer the questions properly? She seemed unprepared. Alleged. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Did you have your summit meeting?
At a hotel here in Nashville.
And a lot of your supporters, fans of your show, think that you may have been lured into a trap. Did anything while you were there make you think you were being lured into a trap?
I don't know that a lot of my think that I was being lured into a trap. I think ahead of time they had some concerns, obviously, because I think in general, after you see a public assassination and you start tracking so many lies that are happening, there's going to be an understandable amount of angst that people feel. And I certainly felt the angst as well. I've obviously been very clear that I am suspicious of some of the characters that are at Turning Point USA. So I totally understand why the public was concerned.
When you saw ERIKA, she was obviously angry about you in that CBS town hall. What was her demeanor like when you met her?
Good question.
Well, I don't think that she thought she was angry in that. I think maybe that was the characterization from the public. I certainly thought she was angry as well. And she sort of clarified that she was a bit annoyed by the questioning, the way in which Barry had set up the question with the podcaster Candace Owens, which I think was definitely being driven more by Barry Weiss's feelings towards me, long-running feelings towards me, than it was perhaps for the benefit of CBS and trying to pretend to be an impartial journalist. So I think she was frustrated by the line of questioning, is what she explained to me.
Like the video. There's about 534 in the building. Please hit subscribe. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. It's probably not going to be this month.
Looking at it in totality, what was the tone of the conversation? What do you think you both got out of it?
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Well, for me, answers to the questions of trying to understand why there were so many Turning Point lies.
So press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before where you're watching from. Thanks for tuning in. Let's continue. Fair use.
And why, instead of people acknowledging that these are lies, I felt that there was this billion-dollar psychological operation to convince people that Candace is just crazy. These aren't lies. These are made up. And so I was very refreshed that they owned up to the lies. That was a great first step. And I think, what motivates that? Maybe because despite having what I would assume to be the best PR agents and crisis PR agents in the world,
hello, NC.
we're moving to a
hello,
different world
California.
where people don't really care, if you are friends with the people at WME and CAA and what they can do for you. That sort of power is ineffectual in this day and age. And so I think they recognize that, and that the public simply doesn't believe the story that they've been fed and the psychological operation to convince us not to believe.
Hello, Texas. Do y'all feel that Candace switched up? Press 1, hello Texas. Press 1 if you feel that Candace switched up after the meeting with ERIKA. Press 2 if you think Candace is giving the same energy.
Believe our own eyes or to trust our common sense instincts has failed. Okay, and I think on their end, they got more clarity on how I figured out certain things, more clarity on why I am convinced that there are people that are inside of Turning Point that are dirty. And I was able to share more with them off record, and I think that they got more clarity in exchange.
Before we get into some of the sort of specifics, is there not a danger here? I've already seen it in some of the reaction from people that follow your show. Is there not a danger that in seeking to be the one that exposes the truth, and I don't know the truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk. I work on the assumption that this lone, twisted, weirdo Tyler Robinson killed him for whatever reason, and I suspect personally that is how this will play out. However, I have an open mind in the sense that we still don't really know what happened with President Kennedy's assassination. I found the attempted assassination of Donald Trump very odd in the way that's been handled by the authorities and so on. I'm not naive. As a journalist of 40 years, I'm not naive enough to say every single thing you've been saying is obviously baloney, because I don't know. And we'll get to some of the more specific details. But is there not a danger, Candace, that by having a 4.5-hour private meeting, rather than doing it in public, what you're going to do, collectively, actually, you and ERIKA KIRK, is fuel the conspiracy theories about what you may or may not have discussed in that meeting, what part of the stuff that you've been broadcasting on your show she agrees with and doesn't agree with, and so on. Is there not a danger that this is the least transparent way of going about trying to get solutions here?
Well, I'm a very transparent person, so my preference was to do it publicly, but I took the offer, obviously, to have any conversation, because if I hadn't done that, then I think everything I've been doing would have appeared disingenuous. Like, oh, Candace is pretending that she wants answers to her questions, but when she got this offer, she suddenly said she didn't want to go because it wasn't public. They would have felt like I was moving the goalpost. So I was willing to take anything. And from their viewpoint, they felt like after the CBS News and the Fox News hits that ERIKA did, my understanding was that they felt that it was a good idea to bring the temperature down first by having us sit down and communicate. And that doesn't mean that they necessarily say, oh, well, that's it. Now we're not going to have any other public discussion. I'm hopeful they will. I think they should. I totally agree with you. More transparency, the better.
Who else was in the meeting? ERIKA was there. Who else was there?
Justin Strife, who is the COO of Turning Point USA, and my husband was only there for a portion of it, and my cousin.
So there were no lawyers, for example?
No lawyers. But they did phone their lawyer because I asked the question. I was like, look, I'm open to being wrong, obviously. If there is something, which I think the media was kind of hinting at, that they had more but they couldn't share it with the public, I said,
If Candace is concerned about general threats coming from different locations, wouldn't you travel with your bodyguard, a security guard? Why was she not with security or her team? Because you remember when she told them no initially, she said she needed her team with her. So why wasn't her team with her? And why didn't her husband stay for the whole thing? And why didn't they change the time for him to stay for the whole thing?
Happy to keep my mouth shut, and I want to feel good walking out of here that there is something there. There is some sort of a smoking gun, and I will tell viewers just to be patient. And so they did call one of the lawyers working on this case, and it was not convincing at all. He said, in effect, all we have is what the public has seen, and we won't know more because we're investigating and looking for more. And so that just made me go, why is everybody being so over the top and ridiculous and using words like the evidence is overwhelming, it was Tyler Robinson, when they don't have anything that's overwhelming to show evidence. They don't have a video of him taking the shot, which I think was something that I assumed, like, okay, there's all these cameras, maybe they actually have that video and they're waiting for a moment to release that to the public. They don't have that. Or at least I can say ERIKA's side has not seen that, and the lawyer communicated to me that they would not have access to that until earliest would be May, that right now they're just investigating just like we're doing back at home.
Are they telling me to stop interrupting? I will continue to interrupt. We have to stop it, play it, and give commentary. Where are you from? I'm going to continue to interrupt. We have to stop it, play it. That's how YouTube is. Let's continue. Fair use, reaction clip.
Yeah, you said that your motive for going to the meeting was that you would be able to come out and tell the world Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. So are you in a position to say that? Do you believe as a consequence of your 4.5 hours with ERIKA, do you believe that it is now most likely that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk?
Absolutely not. I haven't seen one piece of compelling evidence that Tyler Robinson scaled the rooftops like Spider-Man on a college campus that he didn't go to and fired one shot, a magic bullet shot, and killed Charlie Kirk. I have not seen one piece of compelling evidence. In fact, I've seen more compelling evidence to the contrary.
You've seen their vibrant ads illuminating billboards
and I think they met at a hotel. I don't think they met at Candace's house. What are people talking about? Let's continue.
Well, I think that in her recent PR blitz, she sort of communicated that she both trusted her team and her lawyer was using kind of the same rhetoric that the media has been using, where there's really, this is like, it's overwhelming. Maybe he didn't say the word overwhelming, but he was like, it's very clear, is what he said in particular. And then I pushed back and I said, what's clear? The affidavit? That's all you guys have? And I did tell him, if you would never be my lawyer, because it's just, a lawyer that's just kind of giving you adjectives, and I don't need a cheerleader. I need someone to be practical and to say, we don't have anything yet. I think the communication should be, we are hopeful that throughout this investigation, we are going to uncover more evidence that links Tyler Robinson to this crime. I do feel confident that he was involved in some capacity on that day. As I have said many times on my show, I was the one who broke the story that he was at the Dairy Queen throwing out clothes, a local Dairy Queen throwing out clothes in a nearby cemetery. And so I do think he was involved, and multiple people were involved that day. And I think he did pick up clothes. I had communication with Lance's family. I had communication with Tyler Robinson's family. And for some reason, Lance is being protected, which I find to be very strange. His own family thinks he's guilty of more, and they find it weird that the feds kind of glossed over him, almost as though he was a Fed operative, like he was working on behalf of them. And, we've caught the feds have lied a lot. It's just a fact. Turning Point USA people have lied a lot. That is a fact, which they have agreed to. They said that these were mistakes, but they, whether a mistake or not, the public was lied to. So this obviously, matters deeply to me, and it's just absurd that people would think that I'm doing this for clicks. I knew Charlie. Charlie and I are very close, and it has been one of the most disgusting things ever that people first and foremost tried to start this psychological operation that Charlie and I hadn't spoken since 2019. They've lied about.
Let's get the likes up, you guys. There's 473 people in the building. Please subscribe. Let's get the likes up so we can continue. 28 likes. Let's get 100 people to double tap that and thumbs up the video so we can continue. The likes have to match the views. It's free to hit the like. It's free to hit the like. Thank you. Thank you. Let's continue. Fair use.
Fully everything that I've said on my podcast. I'm not going to let this go. Okay, we don't live in a country that is the embodiment of democratic principles if Charlie KIRK gets publicly executed and the media apparatus is doing everything they can to cover the tracks. I would say to cover the tracks by demanding that there is no further inquiry into what happened on that day. That's not a country I can get behind.
Let's get to some of the details, because it seems to me you've put up a lot of theories, but a lot of them don't seem to have a clear conclusion from you about what you actually think happened. I mean, you've been all over this now ever since Charlie was killed. What do you believe happened to him? Who do you think killed him?
So I can't tell you definitively who pulled the trigger. I'm not going to lie to audiences and just put something out there that's not real. But what I can say is I feel convinced that the feds were involved. I can tell you that. I think the feds were involved in staging a cover-up. I think Kash Patel knows what happened and did not happen on that day. I am convinced by me being told by people that are feds that he is not acting right and that he is not wanting to share any information. Just a couple of people are allowed to even see anything. A fed told me that they can't even touch the Charlie KIRK file without risk of being fired, and that he's grown increasingly mad. The U.S. Marshals that were there when they were doing the quote-unquote manhunt for 33 hours said that Kash Patel effectively sent them on a wild goose chase, which is what was signaled to the public when he said, we got him, and it was actually the wrong person. And so it caused people to stop looking because they were convinced they had the shooter. They felt that was in order to allow the real perpetrators of the crimes to get away.
But that could just be the fog of the immediacy of these things. We've seen it at Brown University. Exactly the same thing. They thought they had the killer. It turned out to be the wrong person. Right? It doesn't mean there's any great conspiracy by the feds to cover anything up. And again, even if what you're saying is true, I don't know. Maybe you're right. If what you're saying is true, what is it they're covering up? You've so far intimated or inferred something weird involving Egyptian planes. So, what's that about? You've inferred perhaps Israeli involvement in some way. You've certainly inferred a lot of Turning Point USA involvement. That's a lot of people getting involved here in the murder of Charlie KIRK potentially. But what I'm really curious about is, given you've been all over all this and you've been airing all these theories, but which one is it? It can't be all of these things. Is it somebody?
Well, of course,
is it someone at Turning Point USA? I mean, who do you actually believe was behind this?
Of course, it can be all of those things. And what's really ironic here is that there's a clip of Charlie in the last months leading up to his death where he speaks about the JFK assassination. And he says that multiple countries were involved, multiple people were involved, the LBJ was involved, the feds were involved. And he's correct. That is what it means when there is a conspiracy or multiple people that are involved. Of course, there's not one person on a grassy knoll who shot JFK.
Well, it might have
there
been
are people who had to
that.
agree with it. The Dallas police were involved. I'm answering your question. You're asking, why aren't you just going to point to one person? That to me, even that seems like a part of telling people not to believe their own gut. Obviously, for this to have been pulled off, there had to have been multiple people involved. There had to have been people at Turning Point that were complicit in having this happen. Now, who knows what their motivations are? Doesn't mean maybe this person's like, hey, I'm going to help you.
Hang on, okay, let me stop you. Hang on. When you say obviously somebody at Turning Point, you are accusing right now people that worked with Charlie Kirk at the company he built, which is now run by his widow. You are directly accusing people in that company of being complicit in his murder, right?
I want to just be very clear connecting that dot. So I said that when there is a conspiracy, of course, there are going to be multiple people involved. So applying that same logic to JFK, right, knowing, as I do and as Charlie did believe that LBJ was involved, which then implicates the feds as having been involved, which then implicates the Dallas police station as being involved. I believe Israel was obviously involved. They were the ones that wanted him dead for saying that what is now AIPAC should have to register under FARA. So there's motive. There are people that have to be involved on the ground that day. There are people that have to be willing to allow the perpetrators to get away. There has to be media that's complicit, and that's what literally Operation Mockingbird was. It was established
to persuade the public. Candace, here's the problem.
Well, it was established.
But here's the problem with everything you're saying.
In this massive cover-up.
You keep saying, and this is where people think you're prone to endless conspiracy theories for whatever reason.
Okay.
Is you keep using the phrase they have to have been involved. So by that yardstick, what you're saying is with JFK's assassination, and we recently had a lot of the files released, which did not conclusively prove any of these things, right? Now again, I don't know what happened to JFK, but the one possibility you've not ruled in is it was just as simple as Lee Harvey Oswald. It might have been. We don't know, right? So when you say the media has to have been involved, Lyndon Johnson has to have been. But my problem is you're stating all these things as facts.
We can't do 63, so it's such a nonsense to say there's Lee Harvey Oswald acting.
You don't know that.
That's just such a nonsense. Like, yeah, no, I do know it was not Lee Harvey Oswald acting by himself, and then that required national security to lock down the files, and that required the feds to impart, the CIA to impart Operation Mockingbird to convince the public that it was you can't go against. There's a grieving widow. Don't look further into it. Don't believe your own eyes.
Let me just say this is your.
It was a grand conspiracy that killed JFK. And I am going to say that confidently. I just think we have to grow up. We have to grow up. We can't keep pretending Lee Harvey.
They're going in. Like the video. Please hit subscribe, you guys. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. Please hit subscribe. Thank you. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Candace, that is your opinion. Today's show is sponsored by Oxford.
So he's about to do his commercial. Hold on. Let it go fast forward through his commercial. Please like the video as you guys come in. Please subscribe. Let's continue. Fair use.
Gifts. White Alex.
Let's continue. Fair use. Do you agree with Pierce or do you agree with Candace? Let me know in the comments. Do you feel that Candace has switched up? Press 1. Do you think that Candace has the same energy? Press 2. Like the video as you guys come in.
It's a fact.
It's not a fact.
It's a fact.
The whole reason there are still conspiracy theories about JFK's assassination is none of this is a fact. You are
because the feds
cover
it up.
Theory.
Because the feds are never going to admit to their own crimes. That is the reason we're still discussing it.
That may be the case, but you can't prove that.
Yeah, well, I can prove common sense that Lee Harvey Oswald did not stand on a grassy knoll and assassinate a president. And LBJ, like Charlie says in that clip, which people should go pursue,
yes, I know Charlie
all of the weird things that happened that day that were unusual, and LBJ decided not to ride that day. And then suddenly he reversed course on all of JFK's policies, and he was fighting AIPAC. Israel killed JFK. Now, going back to your about Turning Point USA, and the ridiculous idea that implicating, this is a $100 million organization. Common sense, if this was not even a high-profile political assassination, and this was just a guy who worked at a company that was $100 million, right? Common sense inquiry is, was there a financial motive for this person to be dead, okay? This is like Sherlock Holmes 101, and this is what I mean when I say that the public no longer trusts the media because you're acting us to be stupid, and we don't want to do that. We actually don't want to pretend that we're clinical idiots who can't assess things and go, oh, there could be a massive motive here to have Charlie dead, especially when it seems very strange that Bibi Netanyahu, when nobody even had a clue of what happened, this guy's doing the rounds on Fox News and saying, I didn't kill Charlie Kirk. That's kind of weird. Did you feel compelled to jump on to Piers Morgan's show and say, just so everybody knows, I didn't kill Charlie Kirk? Why would he say that?
So
Why was he so involved that somebody was fighting a 97,000 front war?
Candace, I want to get to the reality of what you're actually saying. So when you say that somebody at Turning Point USA, Charlie's company, was complicit in his murder, who? Who was?
I believe that there were multiple people at Turning Point who are, as I have said many times, my exact words are, they are engaged in a cover-up of what happened to Charlie on that day.
No, but who was involved in his murder?
I didn't say that they murdered Charlie.
You said that people at Turning Point were complicit in his murder.
No, my exact sentence that I said was that there were people at Turning Point who are engaged in a cover-up.
No,
I believe that thoroughly.
Candace, you didn't say that. You said literally.
I did say that on my entire show.
You said there were people at Turning Point complicit in his murder.
Okay.
That's what you said.
When you and I were discussing, that's why I said, let's go back. I was applying the logic of a conspiracy to JFK. I said, okay, JFK, you have people that are complicit. Of course, if you apply that logic, if there is a conspiracy, there's going to be multiple people that are going to be complicit by the time, in order for a large stage murder to happen.
You specifically said, you didn't say complicit in a cover-up. You said complicit in the murder. Because I said, who at Turning Point was involved in his murder?
Let me clarify for you. Okay, you can keep saying what I said, or you can listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
When I was using the analogy of JFK and we were connecting it, I was basically pushing back on you because you were suggesting that, all of these people being involved would be crazy. So I was applying the analogy
I don't know.
JFK. Well, you actually, if you go back and listen,
I don't know.
Suggesting that a
I said
conspiracy.
you don't know either. You're floating theories.
When we started talking about the JFK thing,
let me make it clear.
Piers, I really think you're not holding on to your thoughts.
Candace, let me spell out my thought very clearly.
When we started talking about JFK, the implication that you were making was that it was crazy to suggest that multiple people could be involved at different levels. I was then connecting the dots and saying that in order for the JFK assassination to happen, there had to have been tons of people that were complicit, right?
I heard what you said.
Maybe you're the person who takes the cameras down. Maybe you're the person that told you to drive that day. Maybe you're LBJ. So they're not all complicit in the murder, but they're all at different varying stages involved in the cover-up. Right? So that's what a grand conspiracy actually is. And I do believe, so you don't have to go back and we don't have to go through it. I'm telling you what I think about Turning Point. I am very known for being honest about what I believe. I'm not exactly a person that you got to pull teeth on.
Sure.
I believe that there are people at Turning Point who are engaged in covering up what happened on that day.
But were any of them engaged in the planning of the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I wouldn't know how it was planned. Absolutely, I can't make that. I cannot confidently make that statement. I can say confidently that I know they're engaged in the cover-up because I've been investigating what happened on that day and what transpired thereafter. I've been clear. I've named those people on my show. I've said they are engaged in a cover-up, and I've listed the lies. So you don't have to try to make something out of what I didn't say. I tell you what I think. It's already controversial. We don't need to get more controversial, okay? Do I think someone at Turning Point pulled the trigger? No. Obviously, I don't think someone at Turning Point pulled the trigger.
Did anybody at Turning Point, in your opinion, know that Charlie Kirk was going to be murdered?
There is specifically 2 people at Turning Point USA, and I have communicated that information to ERIKA and Justin Strife, that I would not be surprised if they had foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk being assassinated.
But do you have any evidence?
I'm not going to name. I am not going to name those people, okay? Because it's not right for me to name those people until I know for a fact that they did.
Did you give the names to ERIKA?
Yes, I absolutely did.
You gave the names to ERIKA of 2 current employees at Turning Point who you believe were involved in the preparation for the murder of Charlie Kirk. Is that what you're saying?
I told them that if I were in your shoes, these would be 2 employees that I would look further into.
And what evidence do you have that they had any prior knowledge of the murder?
Because I don't have concrete evidence is the reason why I'm not naming them. So I've been responsible.
You've got no evidence, but you're telling the widow that these 2 people may have been involved in the murder. But you see the problem?
What the evidence for it is people that there is not concrete evidence. It's like you're trying to get me to say something that I never said and then asking me to defend it.
No, I'm asking what evidence
let's actually go to. You're asking me privately, did I communicate to them that I think you should look further? That's called an investigation, Piers. Okay. So what you're doing is a strategy of like if somebody dies, you're saying please can't ask any questions about anybody unless you have concrete evidence. We're at the stage of investigation.
I'm not saying
yes,
that.
You can. And let me give people in the public the permission to do this. Follow your instinct. If you feel something is off, keep asking questions until you get concrete evidence. When you have concrete evidence, you should name those people. I don't have the concrete evidence.
You have named
I
other
find
people.
their inconsistencies.
But you have named other
people. Piers, you can't ask me questions. You can't ask me questions. Let me finish it. I have communicated to them that their inconsistencies make me uncomfortable. I have communicated to them that somebody else who is a third party gave me some information that I am not yet comfortable as I am vetting it, giving it to the public because that's the responsible thing to do. These are private citizens. And that if I were in their shoes and had more access to information, I would go down that route, okay? Unless I am fully confident that they actually...
I don't blame her for naming names. I agreed that she should give the names to ERIKA to investigate more. And I'm sure she gave ERIKA some information of why she should investigate those people more. Do you think Candace has switched up? Press 1. Do you think she's still the same? Press 2.
Did have something to do, like here's the smoking gun. I'm not going to name those people, but the people I have named thus far are people that I believe are engaged in a cover-up. Like I said, hold me accountable for what I've said.
Let's talk about one of those people. Let's talk about one of those people because the Turning Point producer, Blake Neff, wrote this in early December. Ever since Charlie's murder, Candace Owens has leveled a flood of allegations against people at Turning Point USA, people at Turning Point Action, and people who work for the show. She has made them against some of Charlie's closest friends and against some of his most dedicated employees. She suggested that Michael McCoy, Charlie's chief of staff, knew Charlie would be murdered, was happy that he died, and stayed silent because he was told he would be the next Charlie. Now, let's move then to, you said in your podcast that new information was given to you in your meeting with Erika Kirk about Mikey McCoy that's now satisfied you. On a video on the 27th of October, you devoted a whole episode to this guy and his supposed
I never said I have information that satisfied me about Mikey McCoy.
Well, okay, well, I'll ask you to clarify. Okay, well, you can clarify that in a moment. But let's hear what you said about Mikey McCoy before the meeting.
So we decided to slow this clip down, and we're going to watch this clip slow down so you can see that it is exactly 834 milliseconds from the time that you hear the shot. That is how long it takes for Mikey McCoy to put the phone to his ear. Now, why is that precise timing so important? Because there's no dialing. Mikey didn't have time to dial, okay? You can't dial and put your phone to an ear in 0.834 seconds.
Now, what was the new information that you got in your meeting with Erika about Mikey McCoy?
So I'm sorry your gotcha is not going too well, but I never then said, I am now satisfied that Mikey put the phone to his ear. What I presented to the public, it was
No, I didn't say that. Sorry, just to clarify.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah, well, you did say so you have
referred on your
satisfied.
Well, let me give you the chance to clarify.
Like the video, let him do his commercial. Please hit subscribe, you guys. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. Please hit subscribe. Please hit subscribe, and please continue to hit the like button. Please continue to hit the like button. Let's get the likes to 150. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
New information about Mikey McCoy, which had changed your mind. Would that be the best way to categorize it, or changed some of your mind? No, I never said that.
I just presented it. Well, the only thing that I clarified on my podcast, if that's what they're getting wrong, is that some people thought that he was using a nickname that was his middle name, and actually his real name is Michael.
No one's taking any content. We're doing a recap review. We're conversating about what's being said. What are you talking about? Go focus on your own show. Hello.
Like first name Michael, because I was like trying to find something, and I was like, oh, maybe he's actually using his middle name. So that's what I clarified on my podcast.
And you were given call logs, is that right? You were showing call logs? You were showing call logs?
They gave me a printout of Mikey's call logs, and I gave it to the public. That's it. I mean, they're saying this, and then the public obviously comes back and says,
do you believe Mikey McCoy had any prior knowledge of Charlie's murder?
I can't say that he had prior knowledge of the murder unless I have something concrete. I can't say anything about prior knowledge. What I can say is what happened on that day. Mikey's behavior is weird on that day. I find it weird, like I said in the podcast yesterday, that what has been communicated to the public is like he called Erika instantly. First thing he did was call Erika instantly. And that's actually the call logs show that he didn't call Erika instantly.
But what are you suggesting?
Do you think it was nice for them to give her call logs? Let me know in the comments.
He called his wife instantly, and then he had 3 ways. And then showing his call logs showed that Blake Neff actually didn't tell the truth about what happened on that day.
But here's the problem, Candace. You have a massive platform, as you know. Millions and millions of people hang on your every word. When you devote a large part of an entire episode to the strange behavior of Charlie Kirk's chief of staff, you are putting a target on the guy's back. You're inferring it has something to do with this, or something to do with some cover-up, or whatever it is you're inferring. You know what you're doing when you do that. When you saw Erika Kirk, did you say to her that you believe there's something suspicious about Michael McCoy? Was she able to explain to you why there isn't? Or does she share your view that he is somehow complicit in this in some way?
Well, we actually dedicated more time speaking about his father, who I think it's strange to me that man called himself a pastor. I communicated fully that.
Have y'all noticed the difference in regards to her interview with Russell Brand and her interview with Piers Morgan? Do Piers Morgan like to get people stirred up for views? Like the video, like the video.
That everything about that man makes my skin crawl. I think.
Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
He's a bad person. I think he's involved with bad people. And this is obviously, Mikey's a son. And, I asked a bit about Rob McCoy and Mikey McCoy's relationship. I would just like to be clear. I am not going to be emotionally conditioned to believe that asking questions when we aren't getting any answers is the crime itself. The crime was when Charlie got shot in the neck. So,
you've already said though. You told her.
The easiest way to remove. The easiest way. Let me finish. You can't ask me questions. Let me finish.
You're contradicting what you just said to me. You said to me earlier.
What did I contradict?
You said you gave 2 names of people in the Turning Point organization that you believe are complicit in some way. You gave those names, but you wouldn't name them because it wouldn't be right to do that. But you did name this guy, Mikey McCoy, who was the chief of staff.
Because his actions are strange. You're 2 different things. Really, Piers, I think you're having trouble holding on to 2 buckets of thought here, okay? You said, in regards to someone that was complicit in murder, that is a very serious allegation. I gave them names of people that would not surprise me if they did have foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk's murder. You are now shifting gears and you're asking me about Mikey McCoy and why I am raising red flags about his behavior on that day. Because I believe his behavior on that day was weird. I think it's painfully obvious that his behavior was weird. I don't know people that don't duck when a shot comes down. So I'm sorry that I have eyes, and I am agreeing with the public that Mikey McCoy's behavior was weird on that day. Okay, these are 2 different things. Now, if I'm going to make an assertion that somebody had something to do with planning this murder, I better be damn sure. And I need, if I said that on my podcast, right? That's all I'm saying. I had never made that claim that Mikey McCoy planned Charlie Kirk's assassination.
No, I think like a lot of the claims you're making, it's difficult to work out what you're actually claiming. You're throwing a lot of mud in the air, including people's names, which immediately then has millions of people chasing after these guys on social media. And
I'm sorry they get caught lying. Like, I'm sorry, what is this? It's like the public is actually being abused, okay? Let's stop pretending that the victim is Rob McCoy. No, the public is being abused because you're basically saying, stop noticing that people at Turning Point USA are lying.
No,
How dare Candace and the public know? Yes, you are.
No.
How dare Candace?
But when there's an emphatic repudiation of what you're saying.
Mikey lies and Rob McCoy lies and Blake Neff lies, and yes, all of these people have lied on record after the assassination. And the public goes, hey, that's kind of a weird lie. You're like, how dare you put a target on their back by noticing that they're lying? I mean, what weird psychological operation is this? Don't lie.
Okay, but do
lie.
you believe ERIKA KIRK has been lying about it?
Shopping for tires used to really
like the video. That's a good question because remember, Candace had said Charlie Kirk had concerns the day before, and ERIKA says no, he didn't. She said she had his phone, but then when she went through the phone, she found more stuff.
Do you believe ERIKA KIRK has been lying about it?
So I can't confirm or deny who had anything to do with it. It's very interesting. The people around him, are they just lying to Candace or lying to people in their live streams? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. A lot going on.
No, I have been explicit on my show when people were saying, why aren't you attacking ERIKA KIRK? I said, because ERIKA KIRK has not lied. If to the extent that she lies, I will call it out. And that is why I did call out when she lied, okay? When she said Charlie Kirk never received any text messages the night before saying that he was worried about that he was going to get murdered tomorrow. I instantly said, well, here we have it. That's a lie. He definitively did send out text messages to both Dan Flood and Andrew Koba. And when we met in person, she clarified that, okay, yes, that's real. And we didn't know until you said it because he was using a different app and she was checking his iMessages. So to me, if you lie, you're going to make an enemy of me. Just don't lie. How about that basic requirement to say to people, don't lie about what happened on that day. Don't lie about what you did on that day. Because that's the first clue to investigators that person should be looked at further. Again, this is common sense.
Okay, let's move to something else Blake Neff said. He said Candace has made other stranger allegations involving French paratroopers in maroon shirts, Egyptian Air Force planes flying out of Provo, Utah, and potential underground assassins traveling through unseen tunnels. At one point in early November, she started wildly throwing suspicion on members of Utah Valley soccer team for wearing hoodies. I could go on. There's also something new coming up. None of it ever pans out because from the start, there's been nothing there. What do you say to that?
He's lying, and that's the reason why Blake Neff is a suspicious character. I mean, him saying that I pointed to a soccer UVU person is complete fiction. I never had discussed that person on my show. Somebody was asking for a clearer photo of the person on X, and I shared it. No suspicion. Never said this person had anything to do with it. I never covered him as a suspect on my show of anything at all. Didn't ask for more information on this person. That kid instantly responded and said, oh, those are our school colors, and that was it. And Turning Point tried to turn it into a thing. Why are you doing that? Regarding the Egyptian planes, that's a fact. Why are you saying she said that there was a military Egyptian plane on the ground that day? There was. In fact, there were two. So why are you pretending that that's like a weird thing to notice? And that's why people have been flagged about these planes. To his other point, I'm never allowed to answer a single question that you say in entirety before you move on to the next question.
You can't just keep talking ad infinitum. I'm allowed to ask you another question.
No, it's called answering. You just read an entire statement of multiple points of links. I got to the second point, and you're like, let me ask you a question.
No, I want to ask you. No,
you already asked me a question. I'm trying to answer the question that you asked.
No, I want to ask you a follow-up specifically about the Egyptian plane.
She's so right to clear up her answers and answering his questions, because what will happen, they'll clip it up and then they'll only have half of the question answered. So she's right to fight to finish answering the question. I get it. Does he like this kind of energy for clicks and views and to trend and go viral? I'm wondering. Her interview with Russell Brand was relaxed, laid back. He likes to cause interview drama. I'm seeing it. Like the video. Please hit subscribe, you guys. Please hit subscribe. Let's get the likes up. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Has Candace remained the same? 1, press 1. Has she changed up? Press 2.
Given you've now addressed it, which is, where is the evidence that any of these Egyptian planes were tracking ERIKA KIRK?
I am going to be publishing the full document because there's not even just 2 planes. There's actually 4 planes that have been flying in, and I should be more thorough because I realized that the spreadsheet.
And tracking ERIKA KIRK.
Can I just please, without you cutting me off, answer one thing? Okay, thank you. These Egyptian planes, more broadly speaking, now that we have gone deeper onto the planes, recognizing that the reaction to them is not normal. What we can say is that these Egyptian planes are tied to Israel. They've been flying in and out of Israel with their transponder off for years. But regarding the Turning Point USA picture, more broadly speaking, Turning Point USA faith, okay? Obviously, ERIKA has been involved in a lot of the church stuff. It's not specifically tracking just ERIKA. It's Turning Point faith events. Broadly speaking, I gave that information as well. I told Justin Strife and ERIKA, I'm happy to give you this like color-coded spreadsheet. There's no question. There's a correlation here between Turning Point USA faith in particular, which, by the way, from the beginning of this, I've said something is wrong with this faith contingent, especially because Rob McCoy for a while was heading up that department, and he makes my skin crawl. And so, yeah, I have the evidence for that, and we're going to actually publish it on our website.
Right,
so there can be no question, which I should have done from the very beginning.
But let me ask you,
showing that these planes were tracking Charlie at various times there where ERIKA is, various times there where Rob McCoy is, but the consistent thread here is faith events, like Kingdom to the Capitol tour.
Assuming you're right, and I don't know, but I know ERIKA Kirk, when asked about this, said on CBS, if you want to go through my flight log, go.
He didn't let her answer then again. She was given examples of what was going on. He cut her off even then. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Right ahead, it's very boring. You, Candace, say I was here on this date. I have a photo on my phone to prove I was actually in hospital having contractions. So that's one thing she's directly repudiated. But let's assume for a moment you're right, and that all these Egyptian planes were flying around tracking Charlie Kirk and Turning Point, Faith, and ERIKA Kirk. Why? What is your theory?
I don't know. I don't know.
But what's your theory? You must have an idea.
My theory is that we should investigate everything strange that happened on that day so we can figure out what happened.
But are you suggesting
why is everybody
Egypt?
why are we pretending that we don't know why we ask questions? Like, why? Like, you're a journalist. You're like, what's going on? What's going on? Why do you want to know why these planes were tracking Charlie? Well, my theory is that we are being sold absolute Fed slop. The media is doing their Operation Mockingbird Part 2 scenario by telling us, well, unless you absolutely have a conclusion, you can't even ask the question. Yes, we very well can keep asking consistent questions until we get a clarified explanation for what happened on that day. And right now, we have nothing, okay? And that is the reason why people are watching my show, because I'm the only one not treating them like they're absolute idiots who don't have friends who believe in magic bullet theory and who understands that Egyptian planes should not have been tracking Charlie even 3 times this year. Would be an anomaly, okay? They've been tracking him. We don't know where it's going to end, but we are going to keep asking questions until we get clear answers.
Candace, it may be that the person in the media spewing bullshit to the public is you.
No, nice try. It's not. It's you by saying, why are you asking questions? Don't you worry about Mikey's feelings? Everyone knows what this is. And like I said, because we have the example, the concrete example of after JFK's assassination, the media members quite literally being put on the payroll of the CIA, we have a historical example that we can look at and go, we're not doing that again. Doesn't matter how many times you keep telling the public that I'm spewing bullshit, it is only because there has not been anything that has come out of this investigation that makes any sense that the public is not listening to. I'm sorry to say this, PIERS, people like you. And what I love about you and I sitting down is that this exact same time last year, you were doing the same.
So why did she say to him what she noticed? No ambulance, not a lot of police presence, not a lot of bag checks. If he was concerned, why would he go? Why wouldn't they protect him in a different way? Why don't she give him examples and then he answers? That's the biggest thing. You got to realize Candace is investigating more than the wife. The wife forgave the person that took her husband out. But then she tells Candace to stop investigating. It's all weird. When you look at the hands, R.I.P. to Charlie Kirk, when you look at the hands, they look interesting. They look weird. They do. And people are saying it's a mannequin. I can't confirm or deny if it's a mannequin. But why would ERIKA post a video of her husband in a casket? Where'd they do that at? And then she's kissing the hands. Where'd they do that at? That should have been a private moment. Sorry. People are saying the hand sizes aren't matching up. I can't confirm or deny if the hand sizes are matching up because I'm not a hand model or a hand investigator. But some of the stuff is not adding up. How they were touching their shirts, how people were moving around, it just didn't seem right. Now, one of the security guards alleged, one of the security guards did get fired. And allegedly, they're saying he did that interview without their knowledge. So he was trying to protect his name. That's why he did the interview. Go look it up. Go look up the white guy in the glasses talk about the ambulance passing them. Why didn't they have an ambulance for this large event? Not even for their staff, but for people in the crowd. Large events, isn't there like a guideline of what they're supposed to have? I don't know. I don't throw events, but there has to be some kind of guideline in regards to what happens at events. Also, don't you think a campus would have an emergency staff? Why wasn't the emergency staff off to the side even? Something's not right. Something's not right. Something's not right. And then everybody's doing deep dives In regards to him being at the hospital, go look it up. When you listen to when Charlie was at the hospital, what was being talked about, the information that was being released, there's a lot going on, y'all. I'm telling y'all, there's a lot going on. And people are doing deep dives in regards to more possible people in regards to their education of allegedly, nope, I'm not going to do that. People are being questioned if they had something to do with and if people work together. That's what ERIKA is doing a deep dive in regards to. Go look up videos from yesterday. People are doing deep dives in regards to that whole Tyler Robinson situation and his friend group. I'll say that. His friend group. Many people are wondering about the school and about the school programs. People have generally spoke about that, but there was deep dives last night. I stayed up late listening to stuff. Hello, everyone. Can someone send a super chat? $2, $5, do a gifted? Help a sister out. I'm bringing y'all some TTT. There's major deep dives that are happening in regards to ERIKA. Her past is being looked up. Her stating her dating situation before dating Charlie Kirk. That's interesting. Who isn't that smart? They must be talking to somebody else because I know they're not talking about me. So there's major deep dives going on. And I like certain pages that do the deep dives. They're looking at ERIKA's past dating history. She was saying whether she was or wasn't dating, but then they popped up pictures of a guy she was dating. People are talking about ERIKA and her eyes. People are talking about ERIKA and her past. People are talking about ERIKA and her family dynamic. People are wondering if Charlie Kirk's family, his mom and dad, and if he has a sister or brother, many people are wondering if his family's going to speak up and speak out. But is the family also listening to Candace about the investigation, about what's happening? You know what I mean? Like the video as you guys come in. Like the video. Yes, super chats. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. You're the first one for today. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Thank you. Okay, let's continue.
Questioning and making all these things when I said that they were committing a Holocaust against the Gazans, and then you changed your mind.
Actually, this time,
I'll see you next year when you change your mind again, and we have more information about what happened, and you realize that the difference between me and you is that I have the courage to take the risks and ask the questions first, okay, before it's popular. You wait until it becomes popular, and then you change your mind.
You may remember that one of your courageous moves was to repeatedly tell the world that Brigitte Macron is a man. As you now know,
and she is.
As you now know, we had.
I can't confirm or deny about this Macron stuff. I don't know what has transpired. Allegedly, I'm not agreeing with Candace on that situation because my page don't need to be sued, get sued, or whatever. Whatever Candace do in her private time, in the conversation she have, investigating people, I can't confirm or deny this Macron situation. But she feels, and I can't confirm or deny it, but she has a lawsuit regarding it. So we'll see what happens in regards to the investigations and the material that's brought in from that.
$300,000 bet to charity about this because she's a woman.
Yes.
Is my view.
She's not a woman.
Well, we're going to find out is the point because it's going to court. They're suing you. And when she proves, as she will, that she's a woman, because it's very easy to prove, and you lose that case, then
so easy that she refuses to do it for years.
But then it will become more obvious to people that, look, I think you're a brilliant operator at what you do. That's, I like you personally. You know that, right? None of this is personal for me about you at all. I just have watched in the last year from Brigitte Macron now into the Charlie Kirk story. I think you've developed a modus operandi, which, to put it politely, is you flying what we would call in the world of journalism kites, and just seeing what can cause the most merry hell, therefore get you the biggest audience, therefore make you the most amount of money. And people have, as you know, you've been widely attacked now by a lot of people who say that you're just a ghoul, a vulture. You're doing this deliberately. You're inventing things or just flying ludicrous conspiracy theories to make money. No, I don't know that you are. I do know
celebrity.
Can you not interrupt me?
I do think it's pretty rich. It's pretty rich coming from you is all I'm going to say. That's me putting it very nicely, given your background, your career, your celebrity involvement, the Diana, Princess Diana. Wrong messenger is what I'll say right off the top, okay? Wrong messenger. What you are mistaking, or I guess what I'm even mistaking, because you know what this is, you're talking about power versus the people. And you are always on the side of power first. You're on the side of the Israelis. It's so horrible. Oh, I'm going to pretend I don't see tens of thousands of Gazans dying.
I've actually been very critical of the Israelis, as you know, over the last year.
Everybody knows Brigitte Macron. Okay, it's very easy to present photos of 30 years of your life. Brigitte keeps teasing, oh, I'm gonna Brigitte, nobody asked you for a blood test. We asked you for some photos and you refused to do it. And everybody knows that Charlie Kirk was not shot by Tyler Robinson on a rooftop. I am sorry that in this day and age, there seems to be such a shortage of testosterone that a woman has to be the person that states the obvious, right? I invite you to join me, and I know that you will by the end of next year, because they're not gonna get away with what they did to my friend Charlie Kirk, and I am not going to change much, least of all when I am being called to Dave's by someone who has quite a year background and experience in doing things because it's lucrative and not always because it's sensitive.
Sure, you can call me a hypocrite as much as you want. I don't care. It's fine. I'm just simply saying what other people have been saying about you. I didn't say I felt that.
Thank you.
I said,
I'll let you know what people are saying about you.
I read it all, like you. I read it all the time. But I would say that, like I said at the start of this interview, I don't know whether any of the things you're saying are true or not.
If you had to interview with Piers Morgan, would you do it? Press 1 if you would do it. Press no if you would not do it.
I just do know you're saying a huge amount of stuff. It's making you very wealthy. You're getting millions and millions of people coming in, which by the way...
What is this idea that's making me very wealthy? Can you explain that slowly?
Yes, I'm going to explain it to you slowly, because I had a huge run-in, for example...
It's just like a talking point.
No, I'm going to explain exactly what I mean. When Sandy Hook happened, and Alex Jones began weaponizing the Sandy Hook tragedy, and weaponizing the grief of the poor parents who'd lost their children, and I began to attack him in public. And then eventually there was a court case, and it turned out he'd been spewing deliberate lies, and that every time he spewed them, they found he made hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in the immediate aftermath of spewing the repeated lies that it was all staged and the families were actors and so on, which he knew to be lies. And he made himself extremely rich and ended up with $1 billion defamation finding against him, because he'd been deliberately weaponizing people's grief. And the charge...
I'm asking you to explain that. How was he making money?
I'm explaining to you the analogy.
So why isn't he not talking about the service for Charlie Kirk, them selling shirts, her doing a book tour right now? Why is he not talking about what ERIKA's doing? Candace has always did a podcast. She didn't start her podcast talking about Charlie Kirk. Why are people mad that she's talking about a subject about her friend? I don't agree with everything she says, how she don't show some receipts sometimes. I don't agree with it. But it's interesting how Piers Morgan likes to shade Americans. You're over there. Why aren't you doing topics over there? Is something going on in your country? Why aren't you focused on what's going on in your country? You love to come over here and shade us and try and make us look bad. And you love to argue and you love to cut people off. I'm surprised people go on his show. Real talk. Real talk. He wants the views. He's doing the same thing Candace is doing. You invited her, but you're rude to her. You won't let her answer a question, and she has to force to finish answering the question because he's going to clip it up, and then she's going to look like an idiot if she don't finish answering the question. I wish I would go over there, and he cut me off. I would take the mic off and say, dude, I would give him the finger, and I'd walk off because he's rude. And this is how he gets views. Have you ever seen his panel? They go in on each other. He knows which people to get, so they'll go in on each other. Candace held it down. Do I agree with everything she says? No. But it's interesting that a friend is doing more of an investigation than the wife. She forgave the woman. She forgave the man that alleged took her husband out. But then she's telling Candace to stop. Candace did say, though, Candace did say the only people that can get her to stop is her husband, ERIKA, and the family. Candace did say that, and ERIKA has said stop. Is ERIKA asking her to stop because of the event that's coming up? Because of the donations that's halting? People are more so questioning the organization. Is ERIKA asking her to stop because now they're doing deep dives in regards to TPUSA? Because before, think about it, ex-employees weren't speaking up. Ex-employees weren't speaking up until recently. Now ex-employees are speaking up. They're doing deep dives in regards to ERIKA, dating history, her in her 20s, the part of organization she was in. They're questioning her family. There's a lot of things that's happening. So maybe now that's why ERIKA's saying stop, because they're doing deeper dives. Last night was jaw-dropping, very interesting, and we found out a lot of stuff about ERIKA. And this is the biggest thing. She's trying to sound like Charlie. She can't sound like Charlie about relationships and who you should date, and this is what the beliefs are. And you know, when the guy asked, go look at my shorts from last night. When the guy asked, do you feel if that man took your husband out? I got to watch what I say. So sometimes you'll hear me pause. Do you feel that man took your husband out? Look at her response from that short I did last night. Look at her response, because he asked if Charlie would have forgave him. So you forgave the man. You cried about it. You forgave the man, but you big mad at Candace because that's the other thing, baby. She's pissed that Candace are doing deeper dives than she is. She's pissed that Candace is getting more views than they are. Because if they would have did a live stream, it would have showed that Candace is getting way more views than they are. Hello. I looked at my views, baby, our numbers are up. I'm sometimes getting more views than they are. And I just started covering this. For weeks, I was covering Donald Trump, hot topics, trending topics. We started covering this because there's so many inconsistencies about what's being said, what's happening, why there was no ambulance, why there wasn't a police presence, why the security cars didn't protect him more, and why did Charlie go if he was getting unwelcoming comments. And that's the other thing when ERIKA had to say, oh my goodness, she now made me look like a liar because Charlie did send messages to people. She didn't look at all the messages, but that's the biggest thing. How is it and why is it that they gave up his phone? His phone should still be in investigation and as an exhibit on who he sent messages to, what was going on. Oh, that's the other thing, y'all. I'm telling y'all, stuff comes to me. Like I said, y'all just not coming in. It's basically being reported that Candace has scrubbed her Instagram. Why did she scrub her Instagram? Because that would show a lot of videos she's been talking about with Charlie. It's being alleged she has scrubbed her Instagram. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny if it was before the meeting with ERIKA or after the meeting. When we finish here, go look at Candace Instagram. It's also being reported that Charlie Turning Point might have scrubbed theirs as well. Why are they scrubbing Instagrams? Because in regards to her Instagram, it would have showed a lot of posts in regards to what she said about the investigation. Why is she scrubbing stuff? Did they ask her to scrub stuff? And she's like, I don't know, I don't want to scrub one or two because maybe there's more information. Why does she scrub stuff? That's interesting. There was something else too. The doctor wanting to, that's kind of gory. But there was something else I was going to tell y'all. There was something else that happened last night. There is a lawsuit that's happening in regards to Turning Point. Go look it up. There's a lawsuit. There was something else I was going to tell you. I'll think about it. But there was a lot that was happening last night. A lot. But why would she scrub her account? And I'll have to think about what the other thing I was going to tell y'all. But a lot is going on. And a lot of people are doing deep dives in regards to Turning Point. That's the other thing. The ex-employees are speaking out. Them seeking younger adults from high school. And some of the outings are being questioned. But there's other stuff I can't remember. I'll think about it. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Are you with Candace and her thoughts and moving forward? Is it making the wife look bad? Do you think what Candace is doing is making Turning Point look bad? People are tuning into Candace. People are tuning into Turning Point, but the views are not what they were when Charlie was here. Let's continue.
As you know, right now, a lot of people, Tim Pool to New York Post to others, who've come out very stridently in the last week, and say that's exactly what you've been doing with ERIKA KIRK.
Yeah, but you haven't answered the question, so this is just made up.
She still has certain posts, but it's not a lot of the investigation. She still has some posts up there, but I just said it's not in regards to the investigation. So people are not going to be able to look up what she's been talking about the investigation. Yeah, let's continue.
Fluff. You're suggesting that I'm making money. Did I sign a new advertiser? Are we reading more? Are we reading more ads? Do we put this somewhere else? Do we sign a book deal? No. So did I sell a T-shirt? Okay, but come on, Piers. Money on YouTube? Are you kidding me? I was already in a top 10 podcast globally before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And if you think that I would want my friend to be assassinated so I could go from being in the top 5 to being number 1, you're out of your mind. Okay, and it's so disrespectful. But the point is that everyone who is saying that I'm making more money cannot say how I'm making more money because it's just not true. Okay, so you're like, oh, she got a bump in viewership talking about Charlie. Everyone in the world because it was a public assassination. And then it went up in the weeks following and it went back to normal.
Candace, are your YouTube numbers up since you've been doing the Charlie Kirk investigations?
What I am saying to you is that this is the exact same argument you guys had about Brigitte. So it can't, and then the same exact same argument
you were lying about Brigitte.
About the Blake Lively thing. Okay, but what about the Blake Lively thing? So you can't keep saying that.
So is he mad that her numbers are bigger than his? Possibly. It's interesting how they treat her, what she does, and how she do it. But it's interesting. He might be big mad. That might be the reason why he had her come over to do an interview.
Oh, she's always in the top 10 because she's talking about something. Or this is my podcast and it's me. It's just me. People enjoy my podcast because I don't treat them like they're idiots. I don't treat them like they should accept that Brigitte Macron just can't present one photo of herself raising her kids across 30 years. It's just too much to ask. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. How dare you?
Like I said, I can't confirm or deny this Brigitte Macron stuff. I don't know nothing about it other than Candace has concerns and they're going to court. She's been sued. I don't know nothing about the Brigitte Macron. I can't confirm or deny what's going on with that. Got to protect my page. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. There's about 132 in the building. Please hit subscribe, you guys. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. Please hit subscribe.
Privacy. She'd rather file a transatlantic lawsuit than to just produce photos and put all of this to bed. That's the difference between you and I. So now there's this repeat live from Kamala Chronicles, which we did, looking into Kamala's background because it was relevant to the election cycle. Then we did the Blake Lively lawsuit, and they said, oh, she's trying to change her brand. That's the only reason her numbers are up. Then we went to Brigitte, which I lost, by the way. I had to get a whole career change when I first covered that story. So joke's on me if I'm doing this to make money, but I was willing to be fired to tell the truth. And then it's all about Brigitte. And now we've arrived at Charlie Kirk. I feel like there's something about that actually is just people not being willing to admit that what people appreciate about me and why they keep coming back is I'm willing to take risks to tell the truth.
No, I think don't get me wrong.
I was already sold out on ads at the end of the year because our podcast was successful. Yeah, I have not sold a t-shirt, nothing with his name on it. It's just me.
Candace, the reason I told the Alex Jones story is he did incredibly well out of Sandy Hook with his investigations. But as was established in the court case against him brought by the families eventually, and I think we're going to see the same thing with Brigitte Macron and you, is that he was weaponizing deliberate lies for money. And I think you
Brigitte Macron has a penis. I really want you to know that.
Brigitte Macron does not have a penis.
I can't confirm or deny that, but why is it that he will not let her answer a question? People may need to stop going on his show. People may need to stop going on his show because he's looking for clickbait too. He's looking for views too. He wants people that are trending to come over there and talk on his show. Real talk. But she's handling herself.
Brigitte Macron has a penis.
Let's continue. Fair use.
Did she get it removed?
She had 3 children.
Yeah, you can have adoptive children. You can call somebody, but Brigitte Macron was born a dude named Jean-Michel Trabnel. Well, and I
can't confirm or deny that. Let's continue. It's interesting how he don't want her to answer any questions properly without being interrupted.
I want you to know that. I want you to know that Brigitte Macron probably stands peeing up. Probably standing up because what I want to know.
The beauty is we have a big
I think Brigitte stands.
He's never treated her like that before. Thanks for telling me that. I was wondering because it did sound like in the beginning she said she went there before.
And we're going to find out because she's going to court. And you will lose that court case. I think you know you will.
Yeah. I am not going to lose a court case because Brigitte is presenting evidence that Brigitte was born a woman because that's never even been offered. That's just their PR coming after and saying these things. Nobody believes that Brigitte Macron is just unable to present any pictures. Nobody's asking for blood.
All right, let's wait for the court case.
Yes, I have heard that. That she has done people in a way. I've heard that. I'm seeing some of y'all message. If y'all want me to see more messages, please send a super chat. $1, $2, $3. Please send super chats. I did see that one. I've heard that. And that was a concern. I heard that about 2 weeks ago. That was concerning because she wouldn't want that happening to her.
Let's wait for the court case.
Okay, great. And you will be proven wrong again unless there's just federal corruption.
Okay. In the fallout from your encounter with ERIKA KIRK, Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens is done.
Fallout.
What a letdown. Tim Pool has called you evil. He says you're motivated by the fact you were secretly in love with Charlie Kirk.
Do y'all see how he's pointing out all the negatives? Is it just me? He's not pointing out any good things that she's done. Do y'all realize that? What kind of man is he to only want to point out all the negative that she's done? She's investigating. She has top numbers. He dragged her about that. Who she's talking about, he's dragged her about that. Now he's talking. He loves to drag his. I don't listen to Pierce that much. I've covered it before, but I'm finding that he loves to drag his people. It's concerning. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Is that true?
This is such ridiculous. This is what I mean when I say it's like LOL Fed slop. Oh, did Tim Pool say that I was secretly in love with him? It's so. Come on, there's no substance to this. This is so ridiculous. It's, by any means necessary, come out and attack Candace. The New York Post did an article that it was honestly amazing fan fiction. They even said that I used to work at Daily Wire. I'd throw my keys at my staff. My staff hated me. I did not drive to work a single day when I was at the Daily Wire. They had a driver take me there. So we're just now in this weird spot where they're just making things up every single day. They said that my husband had a Qatari passport, and I just ignore it, and I keep investigating because I know what it's meant to do. It's meant to distract me. I'm very aware of what these people are trying to do, and it's not working. So I don't really feel.
Which of your theories
went as a tip for?
All right. Which of your theories when you were with ERIKA did she think was convincing?
We didn't. What do you mean by that?
Well, did she think that Israel was involved? Did she think that there were French paratroopers involved? Did she think the Egyptian planes were complicit? Did she believe that Turning Point employees were involved? Which of the many theories?
I wasn't. I guess.
Did she think she's actually got any merit to it?
He went back to that question. If you didn't catch the beginning, he went back to that question to get an answer. Let's see if he cuts her off again. Fair use. Please subscribe, you guys. There's about 768 in the building. Please hit subscribe, everyone. We're trying to hit 58K by next month.
I think you're characterizing it like I sat down and tried to convince her of my theories. That wasn't the nature of the meeting that we had. I shared information with her and told her, what the feds were ignoring, and these are the things I'm looking into. Obviously, explained to her about the Egyptian planes and this bizarre connection to, Turning Point faith events and tours. And yeah, I mean, it was kind of like sharing the information with her. So there was nothing that.
But again, here's my problem, Candace, with the whole thing. Everything is like you're just asking questions, you're sharing information, you're doing it. But when I actually ask you to be specific about who do you think did what, that's where it all.
He's trying to get information for his next show. You see how he's trying to deep dive in regards to the information she has. For it might be for a reason though too.
It's a shuddering halt. You don't know, do you? You don't actually know.
Of course, if I actually knew who shot Charlie Kirk, I would be instantly publicizing it. I'd say, I figured it out. That's not how an investigation works. Pierce just doesn't work like that, okay? You have to follow the clues until you arrive at a conclusion. Of course, I cannot confidently state that it was, John Smith who shot Charlie Kirk from the left side. I don't know that yet. I don't know that information yet. And when I do know it...
She is doing investigations. She's getting tips from TPUSA people. She's getting tips all the time. She's getting tips that other people are not getting. You have to realize that. She is getting tips from people that I don't agree with how she's presenting things. She doesn't always show proof, but you better believe she's getting tips anonymously from from ERIKA's team. You better believe she's getting tips.
I will publicize it without question. I just am pointing out the inconsistencies, the lies. He was not shot with 30-06, and he did not have a Man of Steel neck, that's completely made up. Well, actually, that's going to be my show today. I do now factually know that Man of Steel thing was made up, and that never came from the surgeon's mouth. So again, we have another lie. We have another lie coming out of Turning Point USA. And put in quotation marks that lie, that it was a direct quote from the surgeon. That was made up. So yeah, I'm going to keep track of all of these lies, deliver them to the public, and allow them to surmise. I'm going to allow them to think critically while it's still legal. I know it's barely legal in the UK, and it's becoming increasingly less legal here in the United States, so I'm going to use every opportunity to ask every question.
Okay, but pre the meeting with ERIKA, you repeatedly questioned why we weren't being told where Charlie Kirk is buried, or even if he has been buried yet. Did you get those answers?
You have the wrong commentator who questioned that. I think that was Milo Yiannopoulos.
You've never asked where Charlie's buried?
Nope, I just communicated to the people that he had a Catholic funeral mass, because people were saying I was lying about him going to a Catholic church, which was another random attack that I had to endure. So I never said that people don't know where Charlie Kirk's buried. That's just the wrong commentator.
Do you know where he's been buried?
I actually genuinely never got to that question with ERIKA, but I do know where he's. I think the implication that Milo made, again, you have to ask him, was that he's not buried. I do know where there is a spot for him to be buried, or to be held in a mausoleum. But I never, that's just, you have the wrong person on that.
ERIKA was emphatic in the CBS thing that she wanted you to stop the conspiracy theories. Or maybe you've got it all right. All of this stuff is true, and it's all involving Israelis and Egypt and Turning Point, a mass conspiracy with this young kid, Tyler Robinson, brought in, and they're all involved in this dramatic murder of Charlie Kirk. Maybe let's just assume for a moment you're 100% right. But she did tell you publicly before you met to stop. What's clear is you're not going to stop. So is she okay with you now, continuing to talk about your thing?
Yes, that is being the alleged number that Turning Point USA made. That's a huge number. Whether that's donations, whether that's shirts, they made a lot of money, and they're big mad for Candace investigating on a podcast she had already had. That's interesting to me. And then there's another guy that deals with them, makes shirts, and he donates it to the organization. But that's interesting to me in regards to them selling shirts and a book. She's promoting a book right now. And the young man is having court hearings, but she's promoting the book. Why aren't you talking about more about the court hearing and what he's saying and what he's talking about? But she's promoting a book as this guy is having court hearings. So it's okay for ERIKA to do what she want to do, but then they're big mad in regards to CANDACE, in regards to investigating her friend who has passed. She said she forgave the person that took her husband out, but she wants CANDACE to stop investigating, maybe because the investors want the noise to stop. They made a lot of money, hand over fist. And I think the book has done well. Let's just say it that way.
Theories, or does she still want you to stop?
Well, she didn't ask me to stop. If that's the question that you're asking, is throughout that meeting,
I don't think she gave Candace's name. Remember that?
Publicly, obviously. So your response to that is what?
I'm telling you that then we had a conversation, and I was not asked throughout that conversation to stop. And to the contrary, I shared information that I had, and I got information from them.
Right.
That helps.
So you will carry on. You will carry on.
Yes.
With the theories.
Yes. Until I feel confident of who killed Charlie Kirk, I will not stop investigating this.
And ERIKA is okay with you doing that?
She is investigating, and people are giving her tips. Hello? Why do people feel that she's not getting tips? When she goes live, she talks about what she knows. She would not be able to go live every day if people weren't giving her different tips. That is investigation. Hello?
I don't know how many other ways to answer your question other than saying she did not ask me or...
Yes, people want more proof. I get that. Let's continue. Fair use.
...asked for me to stop in person, and we spoke about that moment. She felt that Barry Weiss was being Barry Weiss.
And she made no request of you whatsoever, ERIKA Kirk, in 4.5 hours?
Request in what sense?
About how she would like you to conduct yourself about the murder of her husband going forward?
No.
Nothing at all?
No, she didn't make a request for me to conduct myself in any way.
She expressed no concern about any of the theories that you've been putting out?
I think she probably knows me through the lens of her husband, so I don't know if that would be a thing that she would have done. But no, she did not ask me to conduct myself in any way. That just seems to just be coming from the media, how I should conduct myself.
Am I right in thinking that your mind has taken you to a place where you genuinely believe that Israel, Egypt, Turning Point employees, and Tyler Robinson, and potentially others, but they were all involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Well, to be fair, I think we're all putting Egypt in parentheses because we kind of don't think that we have exactly a strong Egyptian lobby here in the United States, and there is a lot of historical precedent with Israel kind of using Egyptian planes or using the Egyptian narrative when they want to accomplish things. So, I mean, I just pointed out that this is an Egyptian.
People have noticed that sometimes she'll say she'll drop names, and then when she goes live, she don't drop names. I'm not stupid, y'all. I see stuff, I hear stuff. Last night was interesting. I wish I could play a clip for y'all, but I'm worried that the volume would be too low. If I remember, I'll try and do a short regarding that. Candace has said certain things, but she did not follow up with saying or showing those things or showing those receipts. When she goes live, she do show some receipts. You have to admit that. I don't agree with everything she says or does, but there's times she does show receipts. There's times she says she's going to drop names and don't drop them. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Israel, I got tons of questions about. Yeah, I think Israel is a very good place to start.
And that's the bigger question. Why did she change up her Instagram account? Delete certain things. She had certain things up, but why did she delete certain things? Go look it up. When we get off this live, certain things in her regards to her Instagram has been changed. And you could know that things have been changed because she would have posts like this on her Instagram. Let's continue. So that's the bigger question. Will she talk about the changes in her Instagram? Who required that? Who thought about that? Did her husband advise her to change her Instagram? Many people, that's the other thing that the short said. Is Candace concerned about getting a lawsuit and some of the things that she said? Like the video, fair use reaction clip.
Bibi Netanyahu was just denying and just way too involved in the beginning. That was weird. Everyone felt it was weird, and they were right to feel it was weird. And when Bibi admits that he called him two weeks before and invited...
This person said, hello, she's messy. I'm hearing that. I don't watch Candace often. Lately, I have been, in regards to I'll see certain clips, but many people feel she's a little messy. Let's hit the subscribe button, you guys. There's about 681 in the building. Please, all 681, hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. Let's continue.
Israel, like, what's that about? People are being And also because it just happens to be that from the very beginning, Zionists don't want us investigating the Charlie Kirk assassination. So it's I would say, the usual suspects. You are correct that I have and sent information, and it has not been denied by the Élysée Palace, the White House, or the Pentagon, that the French Foreign Legion was on the ground that day. Again, something that I flagged to Turning Point USA, Justin Strife, that for whatever reason, the feds don't want this information, which is a bit strange, or don't seem to be interested, or maybe.
So we add the French Foreign Legion to the list as well.
Yeah, but the French Foreign Legion is like a bandit of, I mean, what I've learned about them now is it's like it's a bunch of different countries. It's not just French people. And yeah, that all sounds about right to me. Is there anything else I can answer?
You know, I think we've probably covered it. There's a lot of people involved in this murder. And my guess, Candace, for what it's worth.
Now, he just said that. He questioned her about who's involved, and then he just said that. So it's very interesting how PIERS does his interviews.
It will turn out none of that is true, and that it was Tyler Robinson who, for his own politically motivated reasons, hence brandishing the bullet casings with words like slogans and so on, that's why he did it. He believed that he'd been led to believe Charlie Kirk was a fascist, so he had to kill him. Which is a different issue about why I feel so strongly that these words shouldn't be bandied about, because in deranged young minds, it can have...
Can't confirm or deny what PIERS is even saying is true.
...an effect on them. We see it time and again. But look, if it turns out that you're right...
That's why he itching and scratching.
...murdered by a group of people, including the French Foreign Legion, Egypt...
Esker, the AI automation suite for the...
That's why he itching and scratching. Candace handled herself, though. I would have left a long time. If you're going to ask me a question, let me finish. I don't like when men do that. Is he married? I don't know.
Israel, Turning Point, his own employees, and they were all in on this to murder Charlie Kirk. You will be proven 100% right. And I will be the first to salute your brilliant investigative journalism. But in return, if it turns out you're completely wrong, then I would expect you to come back on Uncensored and admit you were completely wrong. Is that a fair deal?
I was hoping.
And then he's asking her to come back. I know you lying. I don't want to come back on your rude interview, podcast, YouTube page. This man is rude. Is he married? Is he always like this? And people said in the comments, they don't think he was like this to her last year, or if she's been on. And see, he's being rude, but then he's saying, I'd like for you to come back. What, to help you with your numbers?
I think that by the time we did this, I'd be able to do that because they showed me something that was so compelling. That didn't happen. So, yeah, deal is on, as always. Between you and I, the deal is on.
Excellent. I'll add it to the list. Candace?
He did ask her questions, and he constantly cut her off.
I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. We're both Christians. We have that in common. And it's always good to have you on Uncensored. I'll say this about you. I'll say this to everyone. You come and do these things. You don't duck them. You don't shirk them. You don't hide away. You stand behind what you say. My only question for you, is not for you, it's about you, is when people say to me, do you think she believes this stuff? I don't know. I don't know if you do or not. I know that Alex Jones didn't.
It's just so fun being a lone person to be attacked every second and every minute of every day that I was just like, you know what, this is so fun for me. I love it. I love the threats of losing your job and people going after your sponsors and having to worry about your security. It's so fun. You know, it would be so easy. I would be a billionaire. I'd be on the cover.
That's so weird to say, but okay, let's continue.
Of Vogue magazine, if I would just say the thing, if I would just be a federal operative and tell people to trans their kids and tell them like Brigitte's like a really beautiful woman and tell them that Charlie Kirk was shot by one person on a rooftop with impeccable luck who scaled the rooftop like Spider-Man, that's the easier route in life. Unfortunately, spiritually, I can't do it. I'm just my granddad's granddaughter, and he couldn't lie, I can't lie, and I don't want my kids to grow up in a world where a bunch of freaks and pedophiles are in power, which is in the circumstance we live in today. We cannot live in a world where Jeffrey Epstein is being protected by the government and Charlie Kirk is being publicly assassinated. I can't do it. I won't do it. And let the chips fall where they may.
Candace Owens, always good to have you on Uncensored. Thank you very much.
Wow. That's very interesting. Like the video. If you guys are just not coming in, we're going to listen to 5 minutes of the beginning.
Let's assume for a moment you're right. And all these Egyptian planes were flying around tracking Charlie Kirk. News story of the year. Several of the Candace Owens claims are focused on Turning Point USA, the organization funded by Charlie Kirk and now run by his widow, ERIKA.
Oh, I just saw that message. Many people have been talking about that. I just saw your message. Many people have been talking about that. Y'all not gonna know which message I'm talking about. I can't confirm or deny if that's true or false. Many people have been talking about certain things. Oh my goodness.
Last week issued.
Can't confirm or deny.
She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she's making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now. Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Well, shortly after that, Candace Owens was invited to a lengthy private meeting with ERIKA KIRK, which is now the catalyst for frenzied speculation that she may be having second thoughts about some of her theories. She's also, I should add, marking the release of her new book, Make Him a Sandwich. And amid all of that, she joins me now for her first interview since the meeting with ERIKA KIRK. Candace Owens, welcome back to Uncensored.
It's good to be with you at the end of another year.
Yes, and what a year it's been, not least for you. It's fair to say your fame continues to rise, infamy some would put it, but you're always a welcome guest on Uncensored. Let's get to this extraordinary meeting that you had with ERIKA KIRK. It came right after we saw her say in that CBS town hall, you should stop with the conspiracy theories. So who approached who about you guys actually getting together?
I was approached by Turning Point after Blake Neff, who works on Charlie's show, sort of fumbled this invite. I'd almost say it was a fake invite publicly. And then in the middle of the night, said, oh, Candace is not able to be here tomorrow. And they never messaged me. And I think there was quite a bit of public back.
Please subscribe. Please subscribe. There's about 643 in the building. Have you guys hit the subscribe button. Please hit subscribe and turn on your notifications. If you have subscribed, thank you. If you hit the like, thank you. Please subscribe. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. Thank you.
Backlash with how they went about it. It's just not the way that we try to set meetings. And so what happened after was they reached out to me, said ERIKA would agree to do a live stream, just the two of us. And then after ERIKA's PR blitz, they reached out again and said that they felt that it was better for us to meet one-on-one as opposed to us sitting down.
You caught that little shade. She called ERIKA's interviews a bliss.
Megyn Kelly moderate, which was the idea originally.
Right. So where did you have your summit meeting?
At a hotel here in Nashville.
And
told you it was a hotel. I don't know why people thought it was at Candace's house. It was at a hotel. Candace said that in her podcast.
A lot of your supporters, fans of your show, think that you may have been lured into a trap. Did anything while you were there make you think you were being lured into a trap?
I don't know that a lot of my fans think that I was being lured into a trap. I think ahead of time they had some concerns, obviously, because I think in general, after you see a public assassination and you start tracking so many lies that are happening, there's going to be an understandable amount of angst that people feel.
Let me show y'all something else that Candace did respond to. Hold on. I don't know if it's up or down. Hold on.
But I will also say I am glad that some parts weren't, because I was then able to tell them some things.
Hold on.
Check and get some answers on, but also to say something to them that I found out. I wished it was live, but I will also say I am glad that some parts weren't, because I was then able to tell them some things that I have not yet said that I wanted to fact check and get some answers on, but also to say something to them that I found out that I didn't say because I didn't want to hurt the company in a way, right?
Candace pretending like she cares about hurting TPUSA is very funny to me. She has literally called this a godforsaken organization and urged people to try to get refunds on their donations. She has also more than once accused TPUSA of covering up Charlie's murder, being involved in a murder cover-up. And she has also said that the decision was made to murder Charlie, a decision that had to be approved by his friends, clearly meaning many of the higher-ups at TPUSA. So I don't know who she thinks she's fooling. I swear this woman really believes that the internet is not forever and that we just, in one breath, she'll claim that people are maniacally tracking her and panicking at her every word and going against her and clipping her and all of that. And I do clip her a lot. I'm not panicking, but I clip her a lot. And then this is the reason why I clip her a lot, because from week to week, from show to show, even from day to day, she pretends like the past just isn't real and she didn't actually say the things that she said.
I wished it was live, but I will also say I am glad that some parts weren't, because I was then able to tell them some things that I have not yet said that I wanted to fact check and get some answers on, but also to say something to them that I found out that I didn't say because I didn't want to hurt the company in a way, right?
Candace pretending like she cares about hurting TPUSA
Good afternoon.
Very funny to me. She has literally called this a godforsaken organization and urged people to try to get refunds on their donations. She has also more than once accused TPUSA of covering up Charlie's murder, being involved in a murder cover-up. And she has also said that the decision was made to murder Charlie, a decision that had to be approved by his friends, clearly meaning many of the higher-ups at TPUSA. So I don't know who she thinks she's fooling. I swear this woman, like, really believes that the internet is not forever and that we just, in one breath, she'll claim that people are maniacally tracking her and panicking at her every word and going against her and clipping her and all of that. And, like, I do clip her a lot. I'm not panicking, but I clip her a lot. And then this is the reason why I clip her a lot, because from week to week, from show to show, even from day to day, she pretends like the past just isn't real and like she didn't actually say the things that she said.
I wished it was live, but I will also say I am.
So just in case if you guys did not know, Candace said that. I did save that. So we're going to go back to here. Like the videos, you guys come in. Please hit subscribe. There's 597 in the building. If you already hit subscribe, press 1. If you already hit subscribe, press 1. Now there's 647 in the building. Please hit subscribe and thank you. And turn on your notification. I be trying to bring y'all some tea and where to go to get the tea, because sometimes those people have receipts. So I'd rather for you to go over there. I cover what I can cover. I have other things going on. So if you did press 1, if you did subscribe, press 1. There's 647 in the building. Please subscribe. So that's very interesting that the young lady, I'll have to save her page, because that was part of what I saw last night. People saying Candace will say this and then she'll switch up and say this. Last night, another guy did a really good, he chopped up a lot of stuff that Candace said over the last 5 years. That was pretty good. Certain pages, y'all might not get how they are. Certain pages, I only listen to a few minutes, then I click off. But this page last night clipped up a lot of things that she said over the last 5 years. It was very, very interesting. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
And I certainly felt the angst as well. I've obviously been very clear that I am suspicious of some of the characters that are at Turning Point USA, so I totally understand why the public was concerned.
When you saw Erika, she was obviously angry about you in that CBS town hall. What was her demeanor like when you met her?
Hold on.
Well, I don't think that she thought she was angry in that. I think maybe that was the characterization from the public. I certainly thought she was angry as well, and she sort of clarified that she was a bit annoyed by the questioning, the way in which Barry had set up the question with the podcaster Candace Owens, which I think was definitely being driven more by Barry Weiss's feelings towards me, long-running feelings towards me, than it was perhaps for the benefit of CBS and trying to pretend to be an impartial journalist. So I think she was frustrated by the line of questioning, is what she explained to me.
So how would you categorize the 4.5 hours? If you were looking at it in totality, what was the tone of the conversation?
Yes, many people said that was 4.5 hours of conversation. Candace covered about 30 minutes of it. People wanted more information. They wanted information they haven't heard. People were big mad. She did a live. Oh my goodness. We need to do the live of her talking. Let's go to that. Candace Owens did a live. Let's go to the live of her talking. Hold on one second. Let me find it. I'm glad I thought about it, because I did want to do that next. Candace Owens did an IG live, and she was talking about the meeting more, because she realized people were going in on her about not getting more information, and how she talked about her and ERIKA conversation, but then she started talking about other stuff. So people were going off saying, okay, that was 30 minutes of you and your ERIKA's conversation. Why are you so nonchalant about giving more information, or information we haven't heard? So here's the clip.
Okay. Oh, I figured out how to do the question.
Okay, here's the clip. We're about to play what Candace IG Live said. Hold on one second. Hold on. Because sometimes some people may not have heard this. So she's trying to cover her tracks, because people were mad. It's like, hello, there's nothing new.
Of the way Barry's. Okay. Oh, I figured out how to do the questions. Okay. Is there information that you absolutely cannot discuss? No, there is not information I absolutely cannot discuss. That's why I'm saying ask me anything that you want right now. Does ERIKA still want you to stop? Did she explain herself? Yeah. So ERIKA said that the reason that she told me to stop was because of the way Barry set up the question. And so she was basically saying, like, stop, that's it. And then there apparently was a lull, which could have been edited, and Barry kind of wanted her to say more, but she didn't say more. That's what she told me. This person said, do you believe that the world can trust ERIKA and trust Turning Point USA? You know, I don't think that we can trust anything until we figure out what happened on that day. You know, that's why I said I'm not voting until we figure this out. And this weird peer pressure that we all need to vote and just like keep focusing on politics and support conservative organizations. And like, it's like, no, because to me, if this is covered up and we don't get a clear answer, and when I say a clear and convincing answer, I don't mean $1 billion campaign spent on influencers telling you that the answer is clear. I mean, like, we all look at each other and go, yeah, like 100%, we saw him pull the trigger, and that's it, it's over. And even in that regard, even if I actually saw Tyler Robinson pull the trigger, and I don't think he did, I haven't moved 1 inch on that.
So have you guys seen her IG Live, or is this new for you? Press 1 if you heard her do the IG Live after she had did her live, and after people were calling her out, like, why aren't you giving more information? Did you hear the IG Live? Press 1. So let's continue. Please hit the subscribe, you guys. Let's get the subscription up. I need 100 more people to hit the subscribe button so I can meet my quota for today. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
But even if I did actually see him do that, I still would not think he acted alone. So I don't think that we should just be moving on and trusting everybody. That doesn't make any sense to me. There's no way that ERIKA could know that organization this quickly. Like, there's 650 employees, and someone was assassinated in broad daylight, and people are telling lies. People are telling lies. We're going over the lies, like, on the show live. So I don't get how anybody could trust the situation right now. This person says, what's one thing you learned that you didn't know prior? I mean, there's a lot of things I learned that I didn't know prior. I think probably the part that we discussed about the magic bullet, them saying that, you know, Andrew was kind of flying rogue and just did that. And I will say I struggle with that one a lot. I struggle to believe that because, first and foremost, how on earth, like, we'd have to believe that, first off, the surgeon, who's a professional, who works at multiple hospitals, just thought it was fine to talk to a PR agent, who in theory, he shouldn't have even seen Andrew, right? Like I said, Andrew gets there later. I'm assuming the surgeon didn't just wait around to hold hands. That's not what surgeons are supposed to do. They should be working on the next patient, whatever it is. Okay, he had to have had permission, because otherwise doctor would be like, who are you? Like, how, especially when there were so many people looking for information, I would imagine the doctor would have been on high alert. So I feel like that like, we're not getting the truth of that conversation. Like, more happened. There was some sort of facilitation between that conversation. That's weird. And then you have to believe that not only did Andrew fly rogue and the surgeon violated HIPAA to talk to Andrew, but then on top of that Andrew then was like, I'm going to tweet this, and I'm going to put quotation marks because I remembered from memory what the doctor said. I'm just like, that's a lot of stuff that had to have happened. And I don't know. I just don't. I feel like there's a little bit more of that story. This person sent an EK comment on the Egyptian planes following her. I talked about this on the show. More into Egyptian planes tomorrow. She definitely seemed receptive to it. I'll say that. She was definitely receptive to it, and there's no way not to be receptive to it because it's true. It's happening. This person is, are you now paid by Israel? No, it's Qatar. It's always Qatar. This person says, did you find it strange that ERIKA had Charlie's phone during the investigation? I forgot to mention on the show today. I did ask whether or not the feds took Charlie's phone, and they didn't. I think the feds are involved.
Why didn't the feds take the phone, keep the phone until the court hearing? They should be going through the phone and checking the messages of what his concerns were. There's a lot of concerns. We're going to keep an eye on this in regards to the exhibits and what's going to happen with this court hearing. There's a lot of stuff that's, everybody, I remember what I was going to tell y'all. I remembered now. It's being reported in CANDACE Live. She showed pictures of the vehicle that took Charlie Kirk to the hospital. There's a lot of stuff that's concerning about the vehicle as well. I'm wondering what's going to be left and what's going to be the exhibits in this court hearing. There's a lot of stuff that's being released. Very interesting. Stuff's not adding up. Stuff's not adding up. Let's continue. Let me go back a little bit. Stuff is not adding up. It's just not.
So I feel like we're not getting the truth of that conversation. Like, more happened. There was some sort of facilitation between that conversation.
We understand the vehicle didn't take him out, but the vehicle is a part of what transpired that day. Of course, they did what they alleged needed to do regarding the vehicle, but there's more information. Go on Candace's page to listen to what she said about the vehicle. Yes, I know what I'm talking about.
And that's weird. And then you have to believe that not only did Andrew fly rogue and call the surgeon, and then the surgeon violated HIPAA to talk to Andrew, but then on top of that Andrew then was like, I'm going to tweet this, and I'm going to put quotation marks because I remembered from memory what the doctor said. I'm just like, that's a lot of stuff that had to have happened. And I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. I feel like there's a little bit more of that story. This person said, did EK comment on the Egyptian planes following her? I've talked about this on the show. We're going to get more into Egyptian planes tomorrow. She definitely seemed receptive to it. I'll say that. She was definitely receptive to it, and there's no way not to be receptive to it because it's true. It's happening. This person is, are you now paid by Israel? No, it's Qatar. It's always Qatar. This person says, did you find it strange that ERIKA had Charlie's phone during the investigation? I forgot to mention on the show today. I did ask whether or not the feds took Charlie's phone, and they didn't. I think the feds are involved. I've been pretty clear about this. Like, I hope you guys, like, the feds are involved. Like, I just believe this in my soul that the feds are involved in this. There are some things I have not said publicly because there was only one person who would know this and they would lose their job. Let me put it this way. I am like 99% sure the feds were involved with what happened on that day. That's where I'm at personally.
Wow.
Okay?
Allegedly.
I don't even question that. Like, that's not even something that I'm willing to play the game with, the Cash Patel. Where did he know? So now, for me, it's like how many people at Turning Point knew that. And I have bad feelings about a lot of people that are there. I should say a lot of people. That's not fair. A lot is me being dramatic. But I have some bad feelings about people that are there. And especially when their stories start to run into each other like we've shown, it's not good. Because it's like, what's the point of telling small lies, right? Like, I thought it was weird that, like, Elizabeth got cut out of the story of Mikey's first phone call when they were also insistent that was like a military maneuver, you know? This person says... are not being paid by Israel. Did you ask about Pierre DuPont? I had already asked just Rife.
That's interesting too. The name she just gave, that's interesting. There was a deep dive about that last night. Let's continue.
About Pierre DuPont. And he said that he did not know Pierre DuPont. And I had asked that before we had ever even sat down. I did not ask ERIKA about Pierre, which I should have done. And I had a list of questions, and I did not think to ask.
And many people are upset she didn't ask about that. Many people are really upset that she didn't ask and do a deep dive in regards to that. Yes, people were mad last night.
About Pierre. I should have done that. I can still do that, though, because the lines of communication are open. So there you go. Is there anything that ERIKA said that you didn't believe? I think I kind of just answered that question. I struggle with the Andrew Colvett tweeting that by himself. Like, it's pretty standard. Non-doctors know that you have to speak to next of kin. And also, I would say the Bibi Netanyahu offer, saying that, you know, she didn't know about that offer. I don't know. Are we, like I said, I'm trying to assume that there are still Israeli donors who are facilitating this, like, sit down with Barry Weiss, and that's the reason why there still seems for me to be this, like, protection of Israel. That's just how I feel. I feel like the company is interested in protecting Israel's interests, and I do think that there's some Israel angle to the story, and nobody made me think that other than Bibi Netanyahu right after Charlie was killed. Do you think ERIKA is okay? Yeah, I do think she's okay. Are you and her friends? Like, we were never, like, close friends, obviously, because what happens when you get married is you, like, focus on your family and your kids. And I started having kids right away with George while him and her were dating. We've always been cordial. We have always gotten along, and we were always very supportive of one another when her and Charlie were dating, then when her and Charlie got married.
So why, when he passed away, they didn't have more open communication about the husband that passed? Many people were wondering about that. She's reaching out to Turning Point people to get information, but why would you not consult, have lunch, have dinner, come on over, let's talk? Why didn't they talk up until now? Many people were asking that last night. If your buddy, your close friend passed away, why would you not want to speak with the spouse? Why? What? That don't sound right.
And I do think she's okay. I think, you know, something that she did say, which she mentioned on the show today, was that her and like, basically that, like, the way that she copes is by working, like a workaholic, you know, like throwing herself into work is like a form of grieving for her, which I think a lot of people had questions about that. I didn't ask her a question about that. She kind of offered, actually, how did that come up? She didn't offer it. There was something that I said, and then she was like, well, I can explain. I can't remember. I genuinely can't remember. I don't want to butcher it and put words in her mouth. This person says, let me scroll down here. Who does she think killed Charlie? I think she expressed herself, hence the reason why I pointedly asked the question. She expressed, at least what I got from the Glenn Beck interview, was that she believes that it was Tyler Robinson, and I don't see how she gets there. On the basis of a conversation I have with a lawyer, I feel even less compelled that it was Tyler Robinson. I was holding on to, like, the off chance that they had some smoking gun, literally like a smoking gun that we didn't have access to, and we were just like the dumb and ignorant public. That's not true. So I just don't get that. I do not get that at all. Or was I asked to sign an NDA? Clearly not. That's why I'm talking to you guys right now. What about her ties to Romania and the missing kids that she sent to Epstein Island?
Allege. Let's hear what Candace has to say about this baby. Like the video. Please hit subscribe, you guys. Let's continue.
I never heard about kids being sent to Epstein Island. The entire thing about Romania, I have never even covered on my show. So I was not the person equipped to ask any of those questions.
So why hasn't she covered that? Fair use reaction clip.
You guys, I was fully locked in on what happened on September 10th. I obviously saw all the TikToks about her mom, about the CIA thing. Actually, her mother did come up. That was interesting. That is actually a very interesting point. I will tell you right now, the most raw emotion that I have ever seen from ERIKA was when she was talking about her mom. She could barely get through, because I knew from Charlie when they got together, her mom was sick, and because he had sent her overseas, I think it was Iceland or somewhere, actually Austria, to try some treatment, and so I knew that her mother had been sick. When she even started talking about her mom, it was the one time that she broke and looked like she was about to cry, and turned really red, she was trying to keep it together. And I can tell you that she loves her mom. That I've never seen. I would stand that to the end, that ERIKA KIRK very much loves her mom, and she's very close to her mother. Most raw emotion I have seen from her, authentic raw emotion, was when we brought up the topic of her mom, and that was in relation to, I asked her straight up how she knew Tyler Boyer. That's another thing that's just coming to my mind right now, because I'm just riffing at you, but I can't remember everything. I mean, guys, it just happened. It's a 4.5-hour meeting. I took notes. You just got to give me time to process them. That's when her mother came up, and she was like, yeah, she loves her mom. Her mother being sick is something that genuinely impacts her. Why did the conversation have to be private? What do you want me to tell you? That's what I was offered. What do you want me to do? That's what I was offered. I was offered public. I said yes. I was offered private. I said yes. I'm going to take whatever I can get. And I hope that we can then have a conversation in the public. That it can be AMA style, and the public can ask all of their questions. I don't, if I was in their position, I would do it. I told them, their PR has been a disaster. I think their PR, I said, this is a new PR world, and I feel like you guys have been treating the public like they're stupid.
And remember, Candace offered to help them with their PR. Now she's telling us, she said that their PR is awful. And we agree. We agree. Let's see what she says. Did she offer to help or assist? Will their PR get better? Let's continue.
And they're not. They're not stupid. They have sussed this, they know this entire situation is suspicious, and I feel like you should just be kind of honestly with the public. This person says, why hasn't ERIKA protected you regarding the FBI? Oh, that didn't even come up. Honestly, I didn't even think to ask her about could you reach out to the FBI for me? Because that's not how it's supposed to work. I pay taxes. The FBI should answer because I reached out to the FBI. And I think it's obvious. It's because I think they're involved. And I think.
So why not beef up security if she's getting unwelcoming comments, thoughts, and concerns? Why not beef up security? She went to this thing with ERIKA, her husband, herself, her cousin. She did not say, and maybe she did have her security there. But remember, she was saying when she speaks to them, she had to have her team. But remember, people are saying something about her security. They were trying to allege she had the same security as Charlie KIRK. She did not. She hired her own security. But then it's being alleged that Candace wants to start a GoFundMe, alleged, to get security. If you're getting unwelcoming thoughts and comments, why would you not beef it up? If Charlie KIRK was getting unwelcoming thoughts and comments, why even go to the school? I wouldn't have gone. I would not have allowed my husband to go to that event. I would not have allowed it. I would have rescheduled it for another day, period. What was so pressing that you had to go if you're getting unwelcoming thoughts and comments? And then yesterday, I did try and look this up, because remember, you guys, I told you this yesterday and the day before. Charlie KIRK did a podcast with the school. I'm not finding it now. I did do a short, though. It should still be in my shorts. I hope it wasn't deleted. Charlie KIRK did a podcast with the school, and he was talking about that they didn't want him there, whether they started petitions or whether they were just asking the school not to bring him there. But there was petitions that was there for Charlie not to come there. So why still go? If you're getting unwelcoming comments and concerns and the school don't want you there, would you want your husband to still go? Let me know.
Kash Patel is petty, and that's the reason why they're doing absolutely nothing about me saying that I have information pertaining to foreigners being on the ground that day. They're just not interested at all. Somebody said, did they threaten you? I was absolutely not threatened. Am I safe? Who knows? I mean, I'm fighting 6 countries, one of them being the demonic entity that is Israel. Probably not. But it is what it is.
Can't spam my chat. You got to make sense. Please like the video. Please like the video. Be kind in the comments. Be kind in the comments. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
This person said, do you think Charlie would still want you to apply pressure? Yeah, I do. I do think Charlie would still want me to apply pressure. And figure out what's happening, and that's why I'm doing it. Did you clarify anything surrounding whether or not an autopsy occurred? I already told you guys for a fact an autopsy did happen, so I didn't have that on my list of questions because I had already confirmed that. Was yesterday your first time speaking with ERIKA since 9/10? Yes, it was. Well, TPUSA.
Why was that the first time? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Are you guys hitting subscribe? Press 1 if you already hit subscribe, and if you did, thank you. Let's continue. Are you guys hitting subscribe and turning on your notification? Please subscribe.
They own up to the lies as much as you did. Will they defend you publicly? That's actually a good question. It was a private conversation. It would actually be great for them to then have it on the show and to own that they lied. That would be good to exercise some humility, because I feel like I've been public enemy number 1, and all I ever did was tell everybody the truth from day 1. Does ERIKA think Tyler killed Charlie? Yes, I think she's already said that on multiple interviews. Was there discussion around UVU remodeling the crime scene? No, I forgot to ask that question. So that was...
She should have wrote notes. Hello? 4.5 hours? Okay. Be kind in the comments. Be kind in the comments. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being kind in the comments.
My bad. Did they address the issues? Also, because I don't know that I should have thought about that. But I feel like that's more like a Fed question, and I was trying to focus on my Turning Point USA questions. Did they address the issues with the finances and taxes? They brought an entire tax document thing for me to look through. I'm not an accountant, which is why I haven't spent much time talking about their finances other than the Doge thing, which I was like, that was a weird lie.
The change of the campus is big, though. If you're investigating or asking questions about your friend who passed, that's a big question to ask. Why would the campus change the scenery of a scene? I can't say the other word. Why would she not ask that? I would have had all my questions ready. 4.5 hours? 4.5 hours? Baby, I would have went prepared, because she kept stating that she wanted to go to their locations to go live. But then she said, I don't really want to come there. I'll just go with my live. That's big. Many people are questioning certain things that Candace did not ask. The DuPont and the campus changing the outdoor scenery.
I don't understand why Tyler would say that that's something that he'd always done. And they owned that was not something that they had always done. So again, this is the stuff why I feel like we could have benefited from doing a public live stream, because they did own a lot of the stuff, and it, like you said, it has not.
Many people are wondering if she was threatened with a lawsuit, because remember, they did contact and speak with the lawyer. Many people are wondering, because remember, Turning Point has said that she lied about certain things, and she was like, where's the lie? Tell me what I lied about. If there's anything I need to clear up, she said she'll clear up. She never got a cease and desist. So there's that.
And owned in a public capacity. This person says, was ERIKA surprised by anything that she wasn't before? I would say, yeah, she was very surprised on one thing that I kind of surprised them with that I hadn't said publicly. And I explained to them that it was a very big reason why I am convinced that someone at Turning Point knows more about Charlie's death. I think they were very shocked by that when I told them what that thing was, which was basically that somebody inside
Thank you so much.
I'm not naming.
For liking and subscribing. Thanks for saying you like my channel. I appreciate it. I try to do whatever I can do to have you guys think about what's being said and what's being talked about, and for you guys to go look at what else is being talked about. Some of the things I'll cover in my live, and we'll talk about it, but then I'll show you guys where to do deeper dives when there's concerns. Thanks for being here.
Names, but somebody inside Turning Point told me that Turning Point was involved. And they were kind of jaws on the floor about that. And we're like, okay. And I was like, look, I haven't put information out in the public yet, because I am aware of what the ripple effect that will be. And I also, it could very well be, obviously, in terms of conspiracy, do we think 650 employees Turning Point USA are in on it? No, but I think it helped them see that I was being compelled by what I'm being told. And I have not told the public every single detail of everything that I've been told, because I am playing a game of chess. I need to figure out, to separate the wheat from the chaff.
She says she is playing a game of chess,
so to speak. And I think we've done a pretty good job of doing that. So there is that as well. A few more questions here. Darn, I accidentally scrolled to the top here. You guys asked a few times, who do you think? Did you find it strange that ERIKA has Charlie's phone during this investigation?
Like the video. Hold on. Someone must have called her.
I find it strange the FBI didn't take his phone. But then I know they did some weird stuff, starting with in the hospital. I know the feds were there. I've never said that until just now. The feds were at the hospital way too early, in my opinion, and they did some weird stuff. I don't know what to say other than that, right? I could say more, but I'm just kind of trying to wait and process a few more things. This person says, okay, sorry, I'm scrolling just because I realized yes, we asked about the Doge audit. I thought I said something about that on the show today. Why do you trust the call logs? They could have been fabricated. You're absolutely right. They could have been fabricated. But if they fabricated them, to whose benefit? It actually made it seem like everybody lied. So of course they were in fact edited. It wasn't the full call log uninterrupted printed from the website because they wanted to just show me the relevant portions. But that's all we had.
Yeah, go look up the video. Charlie Kirk did an interview with the school, and it shows Charlie Kirk, the person at the school, and it said, it was a title of saying, it's almost like they don't want me to come there. They don't want me to be there. Yeah, and I'm wondering if that interview was scrubbed.
I would prefer to sit down with Mikey and for Mikey to show me his call logs in person.
I did do a short. So go through my shorts from around the time Charlie passed. I'm surprised it didn't do better than it did, but I did do a short, and I hope they didn't delete that short. I did do a short around the time Charlie Kirk passed.
I'm open to that. If I ever get an opportunity to go on your show, I would just be like, can you show me the phone so I have the confidence? I can only tell you guys what I was told.
I wouldn't let my boo, my bae go either. To debate some children? What? I need you here, my love, to raise my children. I wouldn't go. I would not let my spouse go if you're that concerned and the school don't want you there. And they didn't do proper bag checks. I wouldn't let my boo, my bae go. No, baby, I need you here, hugging, kissing. And if her mother is going through things, ERIKA needs him here because her mother is going through so much. You need your spouse to help you through the trials and tribulations of what happens within a family. I wouldn't go. What do you gain from talking to kids? You gain a lot from being here with your spouse. Let's continue.
This person says, I told you about the Egyptian planes. You'll have so much more on that tomorrow.
Okay, you guys, I don't want my tablet to die. I thank everyone for being here. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used, permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. We'll pick up from here tomorrow, maybe in the morning. If something breaks, I'll cover it. But we did talk Candace Owens. We did talk Piers Morgan. We did talk ERIKA Kirk. We did talk about Charlie Kirk. R.I.P. to Charlie Kirk. I did not agree with a lot of things he said about cultures, race, marriage. I didn't agree with a lot of that. But no one should have to pass away for their beliefs and thoughts. But if that was my boo, my bae, he wouldn't have gone. Thanks for being here, everyone. I appreciate you all. Goodbye. Don't forget, on your way out, hit the subscribe button. Go look at Candace Live about the truck, about the vehicle, and why didn't they keep his phone. We're going to check in regards to when the court case happened. We're going to see what proof and what documents they have and what exhibits they have. So we already know about the truck. Go look at Candace's video, and then they're saying the phone. They gave her the phone, and she has a phone. We're going to look at what happens in the court hearing about the exhibits. Thanks for being here, everyone. Goodbye. Have a great day.